April 23rd, 1962. Does that date ring a bell? Well, it should, because the Mets beat the Pirates 9-1, posting their first ever franchise win after 9 straight defeats.
And it's hit hard to right field, way back. It's going, and it's gone, goodbye. The Mets win it, 3-2.
Live from Shea Stadium in New York, today the New York Mets take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Mets Baseball 92 is brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Chemical, intellectual currency, capital strength. By your Nissan dealers who challenge you to find a better car or a better deal. By the New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages. No other book can match it. New Jersey Bell, a Bell Atlantic company. By Macy's, we're a part of your life. By Midas, remember nobody beats Midas. Nobody. And by Coca-Cola, enjoy all the Mets excitement with Coca-Cola Classic. Can't beat the real thing. Pitching for the Cardinals this afternoon, left-hander Donovan Osborne with a record of 1-0 and a 1-point ERA. And for the Mets, trying to get off the ground, Bret Saberhagen. Bret has been tossed around a 0-2 record with a 13.15 earned run average.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Kiner, along with Jim McCarver, and the Mets are rolling now. They've had good pitching performances from Doc Gooden and David Cone. What they need now is a good pitching performance from Bret Saberhagen, who came to the Mets from Kansas City. So far, it's not been good.
So far, it's almost like a B.B. King song. It's the Bret's Big Inning Blues. On April 7th, 3 runs in the first and in the 4th inning. April 12th, 5 runs in the 5th. And April 18th, against the Montreal Expos, 5 runs in the 3rd. I think more than anything else, it has been the lack of consistency in throwing the ball to spots. He's walked 8 in 13 innings, and so far his control hasn't been there. And that's a guy. It's come from a guy who is predominantly a control pitcher.
The best, actually, of any active pitcher in baseball. The best control, that is. The only problem is his control now has been hitting bats, and that has been a problem. We'll be back for this ball game on a beautiful day for baseball here at Shea, right after this message from Bud Light. Welcome back to Shea Stadium, and we have with us Eddie Murray, who last night hit his 399th home run to win the ball game for the Mets with 1 out in the 9th inning. He is now tied with Al Kaline for 24th in the all-time home run list. And Eddie, that was a big one, and certainly your first for the New York Mets. You remember your first home run ever?
Sure. That was off Pat Dobson. That's one I won't forget. Not necessarily because it was him, but you know, that was just the first one, and it's something to remember.
Any other big ones that you can recall right offhand?
Well, yeah, being in Boston, I got Bruce Hurst on a few of my balls, and I tell you, I do not like him, and for some reason he's been there for I think home run maybe 303, which tied me for Boo Powell, and he might have been the one to break it also, or he was somewhere around 300.
Well, he followed you over here to the National League.
Really, I've talked to him about that, too. I said, here I am, I go sign and get traded to the Dodgers, and I said, and then you're going to go sign over here with San Diego. I said, I was trying to get away from you.
Yeah, he's really tough. There's no doubt about it. Well, you hit that home run off a change of pace, and in that last sequence of pitching to you, there were a lot of change of paces, and you finally got on that one and drove it out to win it.
Well, yeah, before that, we got a few pitches on him, and he turned around and threw Howard one. I think the second pitch might have been a split finger, and Howard turned to me and told me that's what it was, because from on deck, I just thought it was a regular changeup. And So I went up and I swung at the first one. I go, okay, that's it, you know. And from that point on, it's like I tried to stay on that pitch a little bit, you know. And he threw me one fastball, I think, out of the 5 or whatever he threw me.
And that was one that he should not have thrown you, I guess. That last one, as you hit your first home run for the Mets, and congratulations on that, and also good luck in the future.
Thank you, Ralph. I hope to see you again here.
Okay, Eddie Murray. We'll return right after this message from Nissan. On the mound for the Mets, Bret Saberhagen with a record of 0-2 this year and a run average at 13.15. And Saberhagen with 110 career victories, twice the Cy Young Award winner in the American League, and trying to win his first game here in the National League since coming to the Mets from Kansas City.
The lineup for New York, make that for St. Louis. Center fielder Ray Lankford leads it off. Shortstop Tim Jones batting second. Todd Zeal, the third baseman, will bat third. Pedro Guerrero moved from left field to first base when Andres Galarraga broke his wrist. He'll bat fourth. Brian Jordan, the right fielder, hitting fifth. Bill Thompson will be in left field and bat sixth. Luis Alicea, the second baseman, hitting seventh. Rich Gedman behind the plate will hit eighth. And Donovan Osborne, what a great name. Donovan Osborne, the pitcher. He's a good one, too.
Sounds like a writer as he hopes to print some good words out here for the St. Louis Cardinals. The defense for the Mets, Gallagher in left, platooning with Boston. Johnson in center field, the switch hitter. Bonilla, switch hitter in right. Magadan playing third base. Schofield at shortstop. Nabor at second base. Randolph being rested after the night game last night. Murray is at first base, and Huntley, who had a good night again last night, is doing the catching. For the umpires, it's Mike Winters behind home plate, Bruce Fremming at first base, Ed Montague, the umpire, at second, and Greg Bonet, the umpire, at third. And we're underway. Temperature at game time, 73 degrees, a beautiful day for baseball, and the first pitch, a fastball for ball one. One of the great thrills of playing day baseball in the old days of the Polo Grounds was going from downtown Manhattan, driving through Central Park on a beautiful day like this, and then going into the Polo Grounds. Never forget that. As the fastball is swung on the mist, it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Not so going to Davis Field.
It's still a thrill going to where the Polo Grounds used to be. Going through Central Park. Very thrilling.
Through there. It was something you look forward to in my day, anyway. The 1-1 pitch, and it's swung on the miss. Saberhagen out in front with a count of 1-2. Langford hitting .286. He has 1 home run, 2 runs batted in. 2 for 6 in this series, and Saberhagen, who is 0-1 against the St. Louis Cardinals, working here against them for the second time. Struck him out with a fastball. So Saberhagen, who has not been able to get the pitches where he has wanted them, does that time.
Shortstop number 8, Tim Jones.
An oddity about Saberhagen, throughout his career, he has been more successful against left-handed pitchers, or left-handed hitters, than right-handed batters. Right-handers have a .260 lifetime average against Bret, and left-handers only .237. That is very, very strange.
Especially with the kind of curveball he has.
Yeah.
And the batter now, Tim Jones, and he takes the first pitch for ball 1. Jones batting .214, spelling Ozzie Smith at shortstop. Ozzie played in last night's ball game. Jones, a utility player, and he fouls off the fastball, 1-1. Just underway here at Shea Stadium, the final game of the 3-game set with the St. Louis Cardinals, also the final game of this 3-game homestand. The Mets have been playing well lately. They have won 6 of their last 7. They're 4.5 games back of the Pirates, who have been playing better than the Mets. Pirates have won 9 in a row. And the fastball for a ball, 2-1.
Pirates have been playing better than anybody in baseball, and there's a guy right there, 12 consecutive Gold Gloves, who has been playing better than anybody else for a long, long time, Ozzie Smith.
And this one hit to left field in foul territory. Gallagher over there, and he reaches up and makes the play. And Gallagher, an acquisition from the California Angels, and what a job he has done.
See, good positioning in baseball gives you a chance to make a play like this. Gallagher playing Tim Jones, toward the line, and he would not have been in position to make this play had his initial positioning not been correct. Good play by Dave Gallagher.
Well, Gallagher picks up the second out, and that'll bring up Todd Zeal. Gallagher with an outstanding fielding percentage, only 6 errors, and that pitch a fastball for a strike to Zeal, who is 3 for 6 in this series. Zeal leads the club in home runs and runs batted in. He has 3 home runs, 11 runs batted in. Curveball by Saberhagen, 1-1. Zeal's done well in April. 283 lifetime batting average in the month of April. He gets off to a good start. And we've got a spring day finally here in April.
Spring fever.
Gotta love this kind of weather. And the 2-1 pitch. Fastball swung on a miss, 2-2. They're hanging on the subway. I guess you call that the elevator down here. It turns into a subway. Remember the old elevator that went by the Polo Grounds? You took the subway to Evans Field. And that one driven down the right field line. It might be a 3-base hit. Bonilla way over in right center. He'll have a long way to go to get to it. Zeal will have a chance at a 3-base hit, and he'll get it. First 3-base hit by Todd Zeal this year. Boy, he really went against that shifted outfield.
Bret Saberhagen with a fastball outside, and Todd Zeal having that swing. He didn't do anything other than what the pitch allowed him to do. He didn't try to pull it. He spanks it hard down the right field line, and he has his first triple of the year.
So runner at third with 2 men out, and Pedro Guerrero the batter. Guerrero started in the outfield for the Cardinals this year. When Galarraga got hurt, he was moved back to first base. And he takes inside for ball 1. Guerrero hitting .224 so far this year. He has 1 home run, 6 runs batted in. Lifetime .285 average against the Mets with 20 home runs. Veteran Pedro Guerrero, and the fastball on that outside corner. Great movement on that pitch, and it's 1-1. It hasn't been that Saberhagen has not thrown good stuff at the plate. He has really been throwing hard. Clocked in the middle 90s. Good curveball, but it's just been one of those things for him in his start here in the National League. Back with a fastball, and it's fouled into the dugout.
Who was that, Vince Coleman? Nope, Anthony Young on the top step, and now he's thinking, I think I'll chart from down here.
He's putting down 1 hard hit foul ball into the dugout by Guerrero. Fastball outside. Don't pitch him there.
That's the ball, so we'll get rid of that one. That thing was heading for me. This is our low first camera right into your living room.
Duck. 1-2 to Guerrero. Guerrero 1 for 7 in this series. An RBI with a sac fly. And the fastball for a ball, 2-2. One of the big turning points of a game that Saberhagen pitched against the Cardinals was Guerrero was a batter with the bases loaded. He went to 3-2 and just missed with a perfect fastball just out of the strike zone. Guerrero walked and forced in a run, and then Thompson doubled in 3 runs after the walk had forced in a run. That was one of the big innings that Cardinals had against Saberhagen. And it's a slow ground ball to shortstop. Schofield charging. The quick throw, and the side retired. Off-speed pitch got him, and the triple by Zeal. The only hit in the inning. Man left at third. The score at the end of 1/2 inning. The Cardinals nothing. The Mets coming up, and here's a word from Bud Light. Donovan Osborne on the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals. 1-0 in his major league career and this year. An earned run average of 1. Pitched against the Mets one time. Had to leave because of a sprained ankle.
The Mets lineup is brought to you by your local Chevrolet Geo dealer. Dave Gallagher leads it off, followed by Dick Schofield, the shortstop. Bobby Bonilla hitting in the 3rd spot. Howard Johnson, the center fielder, batting 4th. Eddie Murray, who won last night's game with a homer, batting 5th. Todd Hundley, the catcher, hitting 6th. Dave Magadan at third will bat seventh. Junior Naboa, the second baseman, hitting eighth. And Bret Saberhagen batting ninth.
So Donovan Osborne with the first pitch, and the left-hander gets a fastball in for a called strike. Osborne 8-12 at Arkansas last year, noted for being a good strikeout pitcher in the minor leagues. Back with a fastball and a great play by Guerrero, and Gallagher, who is hitting .318, loses a base hit there.
Well, the last half inning, Dave Gallagher makes a good play to rob Tim Jones of an at-bat, to extend his at-bat, and now Pedro Guerrero robbing Gallagher. That was Tuesday night. And a fan reached in to pluck a Dave Gallagher foul ball away.
And now the batter is Dick Schofield. Schofield hitting at .321. No home runs, 1 run batted in, and that pitch is a strike, and it's 1-1. Schofield 2 for 7 in this series. No score, just underway here at Shea, and this pitch, a fastball fouled off. Schofield replacing Kevin Elster, and Elster is due for surgery. Dr. Job is going to operate on his shoulder. A couple of examinations, and the decision was made that they will reoperate.
Operate May 7th.
Popped out to the third base side. Zeal, a good play, and he gets the man at first base. Todd Zeal improving measurably at third base. The defense for the Cardinals in the infield, Zeal at third, Jones at short, Alicia, the second baseman, Guerrero at first, in the outfield, Thompson, Langford, and Jordan, and the catcher is Gedman. Now with 2 men out, the batter will be Bobby Bonilla. Bonilla 1 for 7 in the series. He has hit safely in 6 of his last 8 games, just a little over 300. Overall hitting .296 with 2 home runs, 12 RBIs. The 2 home runs coming in the first game of the season against the St. Louis Cardinals, and his second home run that day won the ball game in the 10th inning. So the Cardinals have lost 2 games to the Mets on home runs in the Mets' last at bat. Overall, the Mets have won 4 of the 6 games played with the Cardinals. And the fastball, 2-1. Cardinals with a record of 6-8. They're 6 back of the Pirates. They have lost 2 in a row. The Mets have won 3 in a row and have won 6 of their last 7. Fly ball to deep left center field. It's way back to the warning track, but right there the center fielder Langford, and he makes the play. So the Mets go in order. 2 good plays by the Cardinals, and the score at the end of 1. It's the Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing, and here's a word from Chemical. No score. We go to the top of the second. Leading off for St. Louis is Brian Jordan. Football player, baseball player. Brian Jordan, signed originally with Buffalo in the NFL, was released after training camp, picked up by the Atlanta Falcons, and 1 of 2 from the Atlanta Falcons playing in the major leagues.
If you don't know how to pitch a guy like Brian Jordan and you're a young catcher like Todd Hundley, look at his build. Most football players or ex-football players, you tie up inside. They don't have the flexibility in their swing. As a matter of fact, you could take that a step further. Anybody who has large, chunky muscles in the upper part of their body, guys like Pedro Guerrero, Bobby Bonilla, Brian Jordan, you can pitch inside. You try to tie him up.
That pitch was out of way a little bit. He had a pretty good swing. And the count 2-1. They had Jordan all set up out in right field in a football uniform, and there it is, and a football in one hand, a glove in another. Defensive back for the Atlanta Falcons. How about that?
Fair catch.
Jordan has had very little experience. He broke in against the Mets and drove in 4 runs in his first game in the major leagues against the Mets with 2 hits. He's hit 5 of his 6 runs batted in against the Mets, hitting .250 so far this year, and that fastball ties him up.
Yeah, did you see that swing right there? That's the swing we're talking about. Football players have to be chunky in the upper part of their body. This guy is really put together, but watch how he approaches that fastball inside. It's not a lot of flexibility in the swing.
There's one inside. He hit it off the trademark right down to Magadan, and Jordan is out. So, as Tim put it, you pitch those muscular guys that have muscles in the upper body in tight and high, and those fellas that have the big stomachs, you pitch below the belly.
Below the boiler.
Inside.
Unless it's Smokey Burgess. You don't do it against him.
Smokey was
a devastating low ball hitter.
But he hit the ball the other way. He was good. One of the best pinch hitters that ever lived. And now Milt Thompson, who had an outstanding year last year pinch hitting, and now started in this game, and he hits it hard to right field, and Bonilla is trying to get to it. Dive! What a catch by Bobby Bonilla!
Talked about it the other night. Bobby is not the fastest of outfielders, but if he gets to the ball, his hands are soft enough to where he can make the catches.
Boy, he's good at tumbling, too.
Always going full tilt. This guy gives you a daily wage.
So a brilliant play by Bonilla to take an extra base hit away from Thompson, and now the batter's Alcia, and it's strike 1. Luis Alcia, he's 0 for 14 in his last 14 at-bats, hitting .111. Made his debut 4 years ago on this date against the Mets, and the #1 draft choice of the St. Louis Cardinals takes, and the count 1-1.
You could say Bonilla was earning his daily bread.
Boy, and there's a lot of it out there. A lot of dough.
It's like a bakery, huh?
I'll say. But he has done quite a job defensively for the Mets, and the Mets have been maligned for the fact that they should be short in the defensive departments. They lead the league in double plays made. And a good off-speed pitch, and it's 2-2.
Now, again, if the infielders get to the ball, they can catch it. It's just their range, I think, that's been maligned, and their range is not what it once was. But whose is?
Saberhagen, a quick recovery after coming off the mound, makes the play to first. That retires the side. So with the great catch by Bonilla on Thompson, a 1-2-3 inning, and the score at the end of 1.5 innings. It's the Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. And here's a word from Bud Light.
The Crazy World of Benny Hill, tonight at 8 on Channel 9.
Well, no score. We go to the bottom of the second, and one of the brilliant plays of the year so far, Bobby Bonilla's.
Milt Thompson hit the ball. It had a lot of hang time, and Bonilla really busting it to get over to make the play, and then a happy Bret Saberhagen realizing that that would probably have been another triple. Saberhagen with a nice play himself. There's Bret saying, all right, Secretary of Defense for the moment.
And for the Mets, it'll be Howard Johnson to lead it off. Howard 1 for 7 so far in this series. 198 career home runs. And on the mound, Donovan Osborne, and his first pitch, a breaking ball for ball 1. Johnson just a shade away from becoming the 16th player to have 200 home runs and 200 stolen bases. Hitting 200 so far this year, so that 200 number for him. 1 home run, 11 runs batted in. 6 of those players who have had 200 home runs and 200 stolen bases are active players. Johnson around in front and pulling that ball foul. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Only one active player with 300 home runs or more and 300 stolen bases. That's Andre Dawson. His remarkable career. No signs of letting up either, as Hojo has had some big home runs against St. Louis.
Willie Mays in that group. 1 ball, 1 strike to Howard Johnson. And a foul tip. 1-2. Howard, the National League leader in home runs last year. Second switch hitter to ever lead the National League in home runs. Rip Collins of the St. Louis Cardinals back in 1934 was a home run leader, switch hitter. Former manager of mine at Albany, New York in 1942, Rip Collins. Said he always wanted to be outstanding in a World Series, and then later on he was picked off first, and he was outstanding. And that pitch a ball. 3-2 to Johnson with Eddie Murray on deck. No swing. First base umpire, Bruce Remming. Outstanding umpire.
Changeup.
Really good one.
Saw the wiggle that Rich Gedman put down. So Donovan Osborne, here he is, 22 years old, throwing 3-2 changeups to the leadoff batter. Here it is again. See the wiggle right there? The wiggle with the fingers, and the changeup gets Howard Johnson. It's a lot of poise right there for a young pitcher.
And didn't play in AAA baseball. Made the jump from AA at Arkansas to the major leagues. Outstanding strikeout walk ratio on Eddie Murray, the batter, and he grounds this one foul for strike 1. Eddie Murray with his 399th career home run. Second in home runs by switch hitters in Major League history. Recalled his first home run against Pat Dobson. You can always remember your first home run in the major leagues. But seldom do you remember your last home run if you are a prolific home run hitter, because when you hit that one, you usually don't think it's going to be your last. First one is always remembered, and the count of strike 2 on Eddie Murray. He's hitting .269. Just does miss.
Yeah, but after years of retirement, and somebody tells you got to remember it.
Don't want
right?
to remember.
You don't. You still think you're going to come back
yeah,
and hit more.
I'm going to come back. I really don't remember who I hit my last home run off of. Now the 1-2 pitch. I've been told. I guess there's a mental block in there.
What about Babe Ruth? I would imagine Babe Ruth would remember his last home run. He hit it in Forbes Field, right?
That's right. Last 3 hit in one game in Forbes Field in 1935 while playing for the Boston Braves. And Murray has struck out 2 in a row now for Osborne.
There's some pitchers that you don't have to analyze. All you have to do is watch him throw. And here's one young man. You just watch him throw, and you know he's going to be a good pitcher. This guy has all the equipment. Plus, we talked about the poise that's necessary to release all of that talent. Great mental makeup for this guy.
Looked good against the Mets when he worked that short time against them and then injured himself trying to tag out Coleman on a topper, bunt to the right side, sprained his ankle. And now a bunt attempt here by Todd Huntley, and off the mound and getting the ball quickly is Osborne. And Huntley, who had 4 hits in his last 6 at-bats, 2 of them home runs, bunts with 2 men out trying to cross up the opposition. He certainly crossed up everybody there in the ballpark, and he's out. 1-2-3 inning, the score at the end of 2. Mets nothing, the Cardinals nothing, and here's a word from AT&T. Well, we're going now to the top of the 3rd, and you're looking at Osborne, who made a fine play on that bunt, and the batter is Rich Gedman, and he swings and misses at a fastball, strike 1. Gedman has been up 4 times this year with 1 hit. Batted .106 for the Cardinals last year. 3 of his 10 hits in the season were home runs, and 2 of them were game winners. 1 against San Francisco and 1 against Cincinnati. He was a fine catcher for the Boston Red Sox. Played against the Mets in the 1986 World Series. And Saberhagen's fastball, a ball 1-2.
Todd Hundley about 2 feet from Rich Gedman right now, and it was in that position that Rich Gedman and baseball fans will never forget the 6th game of the World Series in '86, October 26th, when Rich Gedman and Bob Stanley on the mound facing Mookie Wilson, the wild pitch that scored Ray Knight, moving the runner to second, and then Mookie's ball that went under Bill Buckner's glove.
And a swing and a miss, and Saberhagen strikes out his second batter as he picks up the first out here in the top of the 3rd.
Tell you, on that play that Donovan Osborne made, he looked like Donnie Osmond sliding across the stage. Remember the Osmond brothers? Good play by Donovan Osborne. Boy, you hate to see a guy like Hundley sliding into first base head first. With those hands, they're valuable enough behind the plate. And the chance of jamming it or something like that, it's too big a risk.
Absolutely right. And you really don't gain anything by making the head first slide at first base. You're better off to stay on your feet and run through the bag. Strike 2 to Osborne, who has no hits and 2 at-bats this year. Strike 3. Good fastball. 3rd strikeout. 2nd out of the inning.
Actually, Kevin Mitchell scored the tying run that night. Ray Knight scored the winning run. He was the runner on second when Mookie hit the ball that went through Buckner's legs.
That'll bring up Ray Langford, who struck out his first time up.
Red Sox still have not won a World Series since 1918.
The curse of Babe Ruth.
And there it is, a shot of the Mets and all accompanying personnel, the equipment manager, after the win in Game 7.
Mets had to come from behind to win that one. And Langford fouls it off, 1-1.
They scored 3 in the bottom of the 6th to tie it. And then Ray Knight led off the 7th inning with a home run, and they never looked back.
Curse of Babe Ruth, the fact that Babe Ruth was a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox and one of the greatest pitchers that ever lived, and was traded to the Yankees for money.
Harry Frazee, the owner there. No Nanette.
That was he had a play on Broadway, no Nanette. He needed money. The Yankees says, we'll give you the money. You give us Babe Ruth. And that was the trade that set up the Yankees forever. Ruth came to the Yankees, who were playing in the Polo Grounds at that time, and then they built Yankee Stadium in 1922, and it was named the house that Ruth built. A little pop-up in the shallow center. Johnson breaks back, breaks in, makes the catch. What a play by Johnson after the misjudgment. And that will end the inning. 1-2-3, the score at the end of 2.5. It's the Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. And here's a word from your Tri-State Toyota dealer.
Now, Howard Johnson misjudging that fly ball, and you can certainly understand how he could do that on this bright, sunny day. But he recovers in time to make a fine play. Good defensive plays so far by the Mets.
And the enthusiasm on the Mets bench certainly contagious as the Mets bat here in the bottom of the 3rd. And the first batter, Dave Magadan, strike 1. Magadan has hit well in his last 6 games. There's the high sky, as they call it. Very hard to pick the ball up without any clouds up there.
Yeah, plus you add all of the white shirts in the stands, the glare, and it's difficult to get a good jump on a ball hit to the infielders or outfielders, and that's about what Howard Johnson was looking at when that ball went up. See the white in the stands and the glare and the high sky and everything?
Nobody said it was going to be easier, and of course the warmer the temperature, the more the white shirts, the more difficult it is to pick up the white ball out of the white shirts. Finally, we got a day where you can see some white shirts. Magadan at 229. was 0 for 14 his first 14 at bats this year, and now coming back to respectability, and he hits this one foul. It's out of play.
So you might think that on a day like today, you see the white right there at 75 degrees or so. Why not use orange balls, as Charlie Finley suggested? Well, that wouldn't do any good either, because the Mets have orange seats. So that wouldn't help.
So what you're saying is you got to use blue ones, huh?
Well, something other than orange or white. The blue won't work either.
Well, let's stay with the white ball. Hit off the hands and down to the shortstop, Tim Jones, and Magadan is out. Mets have yet to have a base runner in this game, as Donovan Osborne works for St. Louis. That'll bring up Junior Noboa. Boy, in this series, batted one time, was 0 for 1. Hitting 133 in the year with no runs batted in. He's 2 for 15. Curveball in the dirt for ball 1. In the first game of the season, the Mets against the St. Louis Cardinals in St. Louis, the boy ended up having to play shortstop. That's not his position, basically. Made a great catch of a little blooper in the shallow left center field to save the game for the Mets. Played for Montreal last year. Hit his first major league home run, and the fastball fouled off.
Led the National League in pinch hits last year with 14. Arturo Milciades Noboa. M-I-L-C-I-A-D-E-S. And he's giving Willie Randolph a break today.
High curveball and a base hit. Hang it up there. I'll do something with it. So the Mets get their first base runner.
Noboa, who wants to be a lawyer when his career is over, negotiates with that high changeup and spanks it to left field for the first Mets base runner.
Nolo contendere.
Oh, yes, he does.
So a runner on with 1 out, and Saberhagen the batter. No score in the game. We'll see whether or not Saberhagen is bunting. He's a good hitting pitcher. Actually was signed as a regular type player and not a pitcher, so he can hit. Third baseman Zeal about in the middle of anticipation for a bunt. Now it is bunted out toward the mound, and Saberhagen on the sacrifice moves Noboa down to second. So the Mets with a base runner at second and 2 men out. That'll bring up Dave Gallagher, who lined out his first time up, robbed of a base hit on a fine play by Guerrero, the first baseman.
Left fielder Dave Gallagher.
Gallagher played as the starting left fielder in the first game of the series, was 0 for 4. He's now 0 for 5 in the series. But he has driven in 8 runs. For the Mets, playing on a irregular basis. Batting .304 for the year. Born in Trenton, New Jersey, and this ball hit hard to third. Off the chest of Zeal. He can't pick it up. He had a play at first base if he could have picked it up. That'll go probably as an error.
Even though the ball did take a bad hop, I think it hit Todd on the shoulder. The bad hop was the first reason he didn't catch the ball. The second, I believe, was Junior Noboa. See that ball come up and bite him in the chest? Now he tries to pick it up. Noboa makes a good base running play. That's a hit. I think that's a good call right there. That ball took a vicious hop. But as you said, Zeal did have a second chance, but that was marred because Junior Noboa was the base runner, and Zeal looked up to see Noboa, and then he couldn't pick up the ball the second time either.
He led the third baseman in the National League in errors. Last year, he hasn't made one yet this year, and a swing and a miss as Schofield doesn't make contact. Schofield grounded out to third his first time up. Runners at first and third. No score in the game. 2 men out, bottom half of the third. Donovan Osborne on the mound, and the curveball for a ball. 1-1.
It's not as good a running situation here with 1-1. But if this pitch is a strike, I think he'll send Gallagher on the next pitch.
And it's a ball, so now it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Mets have 14 stolen bases in 17 attempts. They're 3rd in the National League. Cardinals are 2nd in stolen bases, and the Cincinnati Reds lead the National League in stolen bases. Gallagher, good lead, does not go, and it's ball 3, so it's 3-1 to Dick Schofield with Bonilla on deck. Joe Torre, the former Mets player manager, as a matter of fact.
He was nodding there to Todd Zeal. Zeal asked if he could move back because the chances of Schofield bunting are remote here.
That's ball 4, so the bases are loaded, and that brings up Bobby Bonilla.
When things go wrong for a manager, almost all managers go to the water fountain. They get thirsty when things go wrong and when things get tight. You saw Joe Torre there sending Coleman out, and he went to the water fountain.
Torre says that he can't sleep when the team loses. He can't sleep when the team wins, but he says, all I know is that when we win, I get up feeling better in the morning. So, Joe Coleman, the pitching coach, has said what he has to say. Bases are loaded for the Mets. No score in the game. 2 men out, bottom half of the 3rd. Bonilla batting for the 2nd time. Flied out to center field his first time up. Bonilla with 12 runs batted in this year. And a ball for ball 1. Good off-speed pitch right there, and Bonilla way out in front. Osborne, certainly impressive for a young pitcher. Good idea what he's doing. And his command has been very good. Facing his first crisis in this game. And it's called foul. It'll be out of play. Torre, an outstanding player for the St. Louis Cardinals, the MVP for the Cardinals. Started his career as a catcher, ended up as a 3rd baseman. Jeff Torborg, Major League catcher. And he, too, is a manager. Catchers, good candidates for managerial chances. Quarterback on the team, and the 1-2 pitch. Popped up, and it will be playable. So Osborne should get out of the jam, and does, as Gedman makes the catch in foul territory to retire the side. 2 hits, a walk, and 3 left to score. At the end of 3, the Mets nothing, the Cardinals nothing, and here's a word from Macy's. Top of the 4th, and here for the play-by-play, Tim McCarver.
All right, Ralph, thanks a lot. No score here in the top of the 4th. The Cardinals with 1 hit and 1 base runner, and the Mets with a chance to score in the 3rd. And Bonilla popped up to catcher Rich Gedman. This one to Bonilla, and Tim Jones is out on 1 pitch. This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by Sterling Doubleday Enterprises, LP, solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Sterling Doubleday Enterprises, LP, and WWOR-TV is prohibited. Any commercial or other use of the program, such as by charging admission for its showing, likewise prohibited. A gorgeous day at Shea.
Funny place for sunglasses.
You've heard of eyes in the back of your head. How about on top of your head? Oh,
going to use them now.
That's better. Probably just keeping them there for convenience. Todd Zeal, the batter, the only hit, and he drills a one-hopper off the glove of Saberhagen, and Bret recovers to throw him out. 3 pitches, 2 outs here in the 4th.
Saberhagen, a very, very good athlete, and he knocks this ball down. And for the second time, scrambles after it. Makes a good play to pick up the out.
2 quick outs here in the 4th. That'll bring up Pedro Guerrero, who grounded to short his last time up, and he fouls it back. Curve is high. That's a danger pitch to this guy. You hang a curve to Guerrero, and he can take you deep on that pitch more than any other pitch. He's also a .300 career batter against right-handed batters. Matter of fact, there are only 2 other right-handers in baseball who have a .300 career or better against right-handed pitching. Brian Harper and Kirby Puckett, both of the Minnesota Twins. Here's that tight fastball we were talking about. Or I guess this is the curveball on that 0-1 pitch.
Good thing he got it up high out of the strike zone.
Dr. Paul Joseph, please go to the press gate immediately. Dr. Paul Joseph.
Still 1-2 to Guerrero. Another curve. He drops down, and Guerrero fouls it off.
He might be one of the great trades of all time. As you look at Coleman, former teammate. Guerrero was traded by Cleveland to the Dodgers for a pitcher named Bruce Ellingson back in 1974.
Low, ball 2, 2-2. Pretty good trade for the Cardinals, too. He was traded for John Tudor. John Tudor went to Los Angeles. Was not much help to them in 1988. Since that time, Guerrero's been a big RBI man for St. Louis.
Tudor released by the Dodgers, and the Cardinals got him back.
Change up low, 3-2 now to Guerrero. John Tudor now playing in a semi-pro softball league as a first baseman up in Peabody, Mass.
Well, he was an outstanding competitor.
Line drive, base hit off the glove of Noboa, and that's that fastball out over the plate we were talking about. When you're forced to throw it, that's where Guerrero really likes that fastball away from it. Second hit for St. Louis. Go ahead, Rouse.
Yeah, one of the reasons why he's a .300 lifetime hitter. This ball, fastball out over the plate, he goes to right center, just off the glove of Noboa, and Guerrero on with the second hit given up by Saberhagen.
Murray playing behind Guerrero at first base, but Guerrero will steal a base. He has 2, and he has not been caught. Brian Jordan, the batter. And he loops one toward right, and it's by Noboa. Guerrero will go to third base. The Cardinals with runners at the corners with 2 outs.
Well, he can't do a whole lot about these types of hits. He really did a good job pitching him, jammed him, but he was able to muscle it off, and that's exactly what he did with that great strength and hit it just out of the reach of Noboa, although not hit hard.
That's right. All a pitcher and a catcher can do is try to keep the ball off the fat part of the bat. They did it, but Jordan loops one into shallow right. Here's Milt Thompson. Thompson flied out to Bonilla on a terrific play in the second inning. Nothing in one to Milt Thompson. Another one foul back, 0-2. Now it's a running situation. The situation to run, especially with 2 outs, differs with the pitch count. And that's something that is certainly salient to keep in mind. Jordan, a fast runner. And now if he's thrown out, Thompson starts anew in the 5th inning. Guerrero also a pretty fast runner, so Todd Hundley's thinking about what to do if this pitch is a ball and Jordan runs. Not running, and Thompson strikes out. So Saberhagen with a big strikeout, his 4th of the ball game. The Cardinals threaten and do not score. Still no score. Middle of the 4th. We're back after this from Nobody Beats the Wiz. This game is brought to you in part by Nobody Beats the Wiz, home entertainment centers for everything in home electronics, music, and movies. Nobody beats the Wiz. And by the United States Postal Service, proud to be an official sponsor of the 1992 Olympic Games. I'm Tim McCarver, along with Ralph Kiner here at Shea Stadium. It is a glorious spring day. Howard Johnson leads it off of this scoreless ball game. Bottom of the 4th inning. Hojo, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Outside, ball 1. Howard Johnson with that strikeout, by the way, dropped below the Mendoza line. The erroneously called Mendoza line. High, ball 2, 2-0. Players use that for the 200 average, but you know Mario Mendoza was a lifetime 216 hitter. So the Mendoza line should be raised up a few parallels. This one lifted to left field. Down with the glasses, Thompson. A little tough time picking the ball up also, and he makes the catch. However wobbly he was.
Well, whatever the Mendoza line is, Mendoza was a batting instructor for the Palm Springs Angels last year. Farm club of the California Angels. How can a 216 lifetime batter be a batting instructor?
Well, you're from Palm Springs. I mean, you should make a call to the owner of the club.
I'm going to make an application.
And get out of this business? Are you kidding?
No, I'm only kidding.
I know. Murray, a strikeout victim also in the 2nd.
In other words, what you're saying, Palm Springs is about sea level out there, so the Mendoza line is near sea level, right?
It was yesterday and last night in the Los Angeles area. A 6.3 earthquake reported, and we understand that it also rocked Dodger Stadium. Cincinnati Reds beating the Dodgers 4-3. And the chances are about, from what we understand, also about 25% will another Timbler will occur in the next 48 hours. We certainly hope that's not true. A changeup drilled off the glove of Osborne, and he can't recover in time. He almost made a good play, but Murray has an infield hit.
This ball hit very hard. Osborne lucky to get his glove on it, and now he has a chance to throw Murray out. He can't find the handle. Screamer right back to the middle. Osborne unhappy with himself that he didn't come up with that ball and pick up the out. So Murray gets a base hit.
Hit number 3 for the Mets. Each side now with 3 hits. No score here in the 4th. Todd Hundley out on a bunt attempt his first time up. Low, nice play, Gedman. 1 ball, no strikes to Todd Hundley. Tapped foul, 1-1.
Hundley, the youngest player on the Mets at 22 years and 11 months. Who was the oldest player to play in the major leagues?
We don't know.
Yeah, well, that's right. You really don't know. You don't know how old he was. Satchel Paige, who never had a birth certificate, at least he never could find one, played at the age of 58.
Fastball high, 2 balls and a strike. So the triumvirate of Hundley, O'Brien, and Sasser have done very, very well this year. Both home runs by Todd Hundley. 5 of the 6 doubles by Charlie O'Brien. And a guy who caught 3 no-hitters knows what they're going through right now, especially in Hundley's case, trying to establish himself in the big leagues. 2-2 to Todd. I was talking to Torborg before the game, and I asked him if he called Ozzie Guillen. Ozzie on that terrible, terrible injury the other night against the Yankees, reminding one of the Joe Theismann, Lawrence Taylor hit on Monday Night Football a couple of years ago. And Torborg did indeed call Guillen. He and Barry Foote, Dave Gallagher, all members of the White Sox, calling him in the hospital, and Guillen was asleep when they first called, and they called back later, and they spoke with him for about 15 minutes. He is out for the season as the count goes to 3-2 to Todd Hundley. What a devastating blow that is to the White Sox. There goes Murray, fastball grounded foul. I don't know of anybody in baseball who enjoys the game more, who embraces the game more than Ozzie Guillen, who is as genuinely enthusiastic as Ozzie Guillen. Just a terrific guy, and he is going to be sorely, sorely missed by the White Sox. Craig Graybeck will be their shortstop for the time being, as Hundley lines one to short, and Murray's going to be doubled up. Hundley hit a bullet to Tim Jones at shortstop, and the double play is completed. The Mets are out in the 4th. No score after 4, and we'll be right back after this from Pro Step. No score here in the top of the 5th, each side with 3 hits. Both teams have played errorless ball. The Mets are trying to sweep St. Louis before heading down to Philadelphia for a weekend series. And as is often the case, a lot of New Yorkers come to Philadelphia, visiting Veterans Stadium. Big rivalry there between the Phillies and the Mets. So it'll be the Mets at the Vet this weekend. We're on the air Saturday and Sunday. 7 o'clock on Saturday night, 1:30 Sunday afternoon. And then the Mets return home, an off day on Monday, and then the surprising Houston Astros coming to town in first place in the National League West.
Played their first 15 games at home, and they are in first place with a record of 9-6. Now they go on the road. Second time in the history of the National League that a team has opened up at home and played their first 15 games at home. The Dodgers did it one other time.
Inside to Luis Alicea, and our scoreboard has gone out. See? High to Alicea. And there it is.
Like I said, look at the wind.
2 balls and 1 strike. So I guess Mike Winters, the home plate umpire, will start into his radio broadcasting mode right now. It's 2-2. 2-2 to Alicea. Foul back, still 2-2. We had to do that on Sunday when we lost power with Secaucus and had to go into a radio broadcasting mode. So that's what Mike Winters, the home plate umpire, will have to do now.
Scoreboard can't take all this heat. 75 degrees, not used to it.
Little humidity. It is a splendid day here in the New York area. Change up, hit hard up the middle. Nice play. Noboa got him. 1 out.
Well, Junior with a nice backhand pickup here as he goes to his knee. Gets up, fires a good throw to first base, and Alicea, struggling for a base hit, is robbed of one.
Alicea now 4 for 38 on the season as Rich Gedman swings through a fastball from Saberhagen. Strike 2. Got him with the fastball on the corner. 2 outs here in the 5th.
Checking out the Macy's National League scoreboard. Philadelphia leading Chicago 2-0. Bottom of the 1st inning. Montreal leading Pittsburgh 2-0. Bottom of the 4th. Pirates, of course, after that torrid start, they have won 9 in a row. Those are the day games in the National League.
Pitcher for the Cardinals, Donovan Osborne. He struck out his first time up, and he waves through a fastball. 0-1 to Osborne.
You're talking earlier about the fact that this is the anniversary of the Mets' first game ever won. Back in 1962, they had lost their first 9. The Mets lost their first 9, and they were 9.5 games back. Now, normally you would say, how could that be? Could only be 9 games back, but the Pirates that year won their first 10.
That's the only way that they can be 9.5 back.
1962, the Pirates were 10-0, and the Mets had lost their first 9 and were 9.5 games out. Only could happen to the Mets.
A beach ball has landed inside the left field line.
Rushing the season a little bit.
Talk about that year, 1962. The Pirates off to that good start, but the season ended with the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants tied after 162 games. Can you imagine that? The first year of 162 game play. 2 teams with identical records. And of course, San Francisco winning in 3 games, the best 2 out of 3. The last game played at Dodger Stadium. I think I'm right. I think the Giants scored 4 in the top of the 9th to win it by 2.
Dodgers were involved in the first 5 playoffs for championships.
Ground ball to second base, and an easy inning for Bret Saberhagen. This game's sailing right along. After 4.5, no score, and we're back after this from the owner of the Cardinals, Budweiser. Remember, folks, when you're having good times with good friends, drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser. Scoreless ball game going to the bottom of the 5th, and back in to call it for you. Here's Ralph.
Okay, Tim.
Here we go for the net, number 29, third baseman, Dave Saberhagen.
And a happy birthday to Arthur Gress, who is a veteran here at Shea Stadium over the many, many years, working for our broadcast crew. And for the Mets, the leadoff batter will be Dave Magadan. Dave grounded out to short his first time up. And the first pitch to Magadan, a breaking ball by Osborne, and it's strike one. In 1962, the Giants ended up winning 103 games and losing 62. The Dodgers 102 games and losing 63. After that playoff.
And the drama continued during the 7-game World Series. Willie McCovey making the last out on the line drive to Bobby Richardson. And the play before that, Roger Maris, as the right fielder, made a terrific play on a ball near the line to hold Felipe Lou at third base. There were runners at first and third when McCovey hit that ball. Had Maris not made that play, then the Giants could have won the series.
And this ball down the line, almost in fair territory, but a foul ball. The pitcher was Ralph Terry, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Almost tore Richardson apart, making that catch of that line drive by McCovey. The Mets in 1962 won 40, lost 120. That was their first year. They finished 60.5 games back of the Dodgers and Giants that year. Worst percentage record ever in the history of Major League Baseball, the 1962 Mets.
It's funny, Ralph Terry, the winner of Game 7 that year, and it was Ralph Terry who 2 years earlier threw the home run ball to Bill Mazeroski. The famous shot heard around the world when Pittsburgh beat the Yankees in 7.
This one down the other side, and it's over near the foul line, and a good running play by Milt Thompson. So Magadan turned away.
Check out our Toyota American League scoreboard. Boston and Milwaukee, no score in the first. Minnesota and Seattle later on. As is Cleveland at Toronto, Detroit at Texas, Baltimore at Kansas City.
And that will bring up Junior Noboa. Junior with a base hit his first time up. Both sides with 3 hits in the game. Both sides have not scored, and Noboa takes the first pitch for ball 1. There's ball 2.
Mentioned earlier that Junior Noboa wants to be a lawyer after his career is over. And that's who Don Imus will be hearing from tomorrow. My lawyers. Don Imus called me a doofus on his show today.
Is that good?
A doofus? Now, does that sound good?
No, it doesn't sound
No,
good.
it doesn't. Well,
No, I just offhand I'd say it doesn't sound
No,
good.
it doesn't sound good, and it's not good. It's a very contemporary word. I don't know exactly what it means, but it's not good.
Has negative connotations.
It's correct. It doesn't even sound good. Doofus.
2-2. They got to Noboa. And it's hit off the hands, grouped into center field, and it will be caught. Good play by Langford. So good. 2 good running plays in the outfield, 2 good running catches, and 2 men away, and that'll bring up Bret Saberhagen.
Pitcher, Bret Saberhagen.
Saberhagen sacrificed in his first at bat. Cardinals only 6 errors this season.
Tight defense, that has been the trademark of the Cardinals throughout the 80s and into the 90s.
Led, of course, by Ozzie Smith, their great shortstop, and the first pitch to Saberhagen, strike 1. Ozzie Smith closing in on the all-time record for games played by a shortstop. Record held by Marty Marion, a great shortstop for the St. Louis Cardinals. Smith needs just 9 more game starts to tie Marty Marion. Drive to right, and all 3 outfielders get in the act as the Mets go in order. The score at the end of 5. The Mets nothing, the Cardinals nothing, and here's a word from Citibank. Tie score and no score here at Shea Stadium, the final game of this 3-game series. Good crowd on hand on that beautiful day for baseball, the best the Mets have had this year. And one of the fans in the stands, Tim is not a doofus. Are you sure about that spelling?
Yeah, I think it's D-U-F-U-S. I'm not sure whether it has 2 O's in it. Oh, that was last night. Eat your peas. Do you like peas, by the way?
I love peas. I'm really into
English
peas.
peas?
All kinds. Of course, the story on the peas with Tim is that we were at a luncheon. There was a luncheon honoring Frank Cashin of the Mets, and one of the Philadelphia Philly coaches, Vukovich, sent over a spoonful of peas to Tim McCarver. And a fly ball hit out toward left field by Langford, and Gallagher puts it away.
I understand Phil Bernstein just called and said that doofus was spelled correctly, D-O-O-F-U-S. I don't think I've ever seen that word in print, but I heard it today. Bret Saberhagen's line, he has just been terrific, as has the young left-hander Donovan Osborne. No walks today. That's the key for Saberhagen.
And it's another one in the outfield. This time it's Johnson. And 2 men away. As it stands through the first 5 innings, both pitchers pitching to just 18 batters. And Saberhagen now with 2 men out in the top of the 6th inning. And the batter will be Todd Zeile, who has one of the 3 hits off Saberhagen. Saberhagen, 1 of 9 to win the Cy Young Award 2 times. He won it in 1985 and 1989. And he, the 3rd youngest to ever win the Cy Young Award. The youngest was Doc Gooden at the age of 20. Valenzuela won it at the age of 21. And Saberhagen won it at the age of 21 plus. 1 strike to count to Todd Zeile. 1 for 2 in this game. A triple to right field, but was left at 3rd base. And there's a ball. You're watching Mets baseball 92 on Channel 9 WWR-TV, Secaucus, New Jersey. Scoreless ball game, 2 men out, top of the 6th inning, and the ground ball hit out toward the shortstop. Schofield with a quick toss, a wide one, but Murray stays on the bag, takes the ball on the hop, and picks up the out. Good play by Eddie Murray and Dick Schofield. That retires the side in order. The score at the end of 5.5 innings, it's the Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. And here's a word from Massachusetts Tourism. Well, a day at the ballpark and a sunny day, bringing out the sun worshipers as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, a scoreless ball game, and the first pitch is hit in the air to right center field as Dave Gallagher leads it off. Gallagher has one of the 3 hits for the Mets, this time retired in the air. That'll bring up Dick Schofield. That was a good play that Schofield made to end the 6th inning. Fine play by Eddie Murray, but I think that throw was by design. He released it quickly, knowing that he didn't have time to stop, plant his right foot, and throw.
Fine play.
Schofield 0 for 1 in the game with a walk, and the breaking ball in there called strike. Ground ball toward third, fielded by Tim Jones. A throw to first base will get him. So 2 outs on 3 pitches as this game moves right along, and that'll bring up Bobby Bonilla, who had a grand chance to put the Mets up in the 3rd, but he fouled out with the bases loaded for the final out of the 3rd inning. The only scoring opportunity for the Mets in this game. The Cardinals have had a couple. A runner at 3rd in the 1st and a runner on 3rd in the 4th. Fastball for ball 1. Ground ball to 3rd, and Todd Zeal has it. The Mets go out quickly. A 1-2-3 inning the score at the end of 6 here at Shea Stadium. The Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. Here's a word from Coca-Cola Classic. Well, top of the 7th, no score. The last inning saw just 11 pitches made by both pitchers. And the celebration continues here at Shea Stadium.
I guess you could call it that. Dancing to Harry Belafonte and Deo from his album at Carnegie Hall, a real classic. And a rather classic game. You mentioned the 11 pitches in the 6th inning, and both pitchers really on their A game today. No score here in the 7th as Pedro Guerrero leads it off. He's 1 for 2. He had an infield hit in the 4th. Line drive. Caught by Schofield. That is 8 in a row now, retired by Saberhagen. 1 out here in the 7th.
7 outs on 13 pitches, so this game progressing rather quickly. The fastest game ever played in Major League history, 51 minutes.
Brian Jordan, the right fielder now. He's 1 for 2. Oh, it looked like it hit him. I think it hit him in his left hand. Or did it hit the bat? Home plate umpire Mike Winter says it hit the bat. Jordan's not running to first base.
Sounded like it hit the bat and hit right on the knob. As that pitch is in tight, he moves into it, comes off of there. Torrey's out to argue that it hit his batter. But evidently the umpire, Mike Winter, says it did not. It hit the bat.
You can understand Torrey's argument, even though Jordan made no attempt whatsoever to go to first base. However, after the pitch, Jordan glaring out at Saberhagen.
And he still is. Well, if you didn't see it, you might hear it. And let's listen to see what kind of sound we get off of the replay. Certainly sounded like it hit wood.
Either that or it was doctored up by our guys in the control room who are Mets fans.
Shades of Gil Hodges pulling that ball out of the dugout that showed shoe polish on a pitch that hit Cleon Jones in the 1969 World Series.
Well, we talked also about having to pitch Guerrero and Jordan and guys like that inside. And obviously, when you pitch guys inside, there's always a chance of a ball running in, tailing in. Guerrero on the second step. Guerrero, the guy you'll remember back in 1988 who went after David Cohn when Cohn hit him with a curveball in Los Angeles. Guerrero throwing the bat, and there again is the fastball up and in. And Jordan, you can see again glaring out at Saberhagen. Got to be able to pitch inside.
He's going to have to learn to handle that sort of thing, because that's where he's going to be pitched.
That's
try
right.
to get him in there tight because he's so strong.
That's right. And again, the fastball inside. And again, Jordan glares at Saberhagen. 2 outs.
Well, football and baseball are 2 different sports. Intimidation, a part of each, but you're going to have to learn that that's part of this game.
Especially if you can't hit it and if that's your weakness. And again, Jordan glaring at Saberhagen. So, intimidation, all part of the game, but you got to be able to pitch somebody inside. Nothing in 2 to Milt Thompson.
He seems to be right on that. He isn't backing off at all.
Nope. Fly ball, shallow right. Back is Bonilla. Bonilla coming in, and the ball drops for a double. Junior Noboa drifting back. He appeared to have it in his sights, and for some reason came off the ball, and Thompson has a bloop double with 2 out here in the 7th.
Well, it's miscommunication, but Bonilla certainly not coming hard. He was waiting for Noboa to make the catch. It was Noboa's ball all the way. And here he's calling for it. He might have lost it in the sun.
The glasses were up, though, Ralph.
Yeah.
If he lost it in the sun, why aren't the glasses down?
Well, that's true. He hasn't put the glasses down, and Bonilla's nowhere to be there to make the play. It was Noboa's all the way, and that'll go as a 2-pace hit.
Hit number 4 for the Cardinals, but a hit that should never have been. Ball and no strikes to Luis Alicea. There's a guy, now this is a very interesting conversation, one might imagine. There's a guy who was hit more than any other player in the history of Major League Baseball, Don Baylor, the batting instructor for the Cardinals, talking to Brian Jordan. Line drive, left field. It'll be caught. So the bloop double goes for naught, and I'll guarantee you, knowing Don Baylor, he's telling Jordan, hey, that's all part of the game, because that's the way Baylor approached the game. No score, middle of the 7th. We'll return right after this message.
Fans, Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th, and if you treat Mom to a Mets ball game, Mama Leone's will treat her to dinner. All women 15 and over attending tonight the 1:40 p.m. game against the Dodgers will receive a $25 gift certificate, good for dinner at Mama Leone's restaurant, located at 261 West 44th Street in Manhattan. So call Ticketmaster at 212-307-METS to charge tickets by phone, or call 718-507-TIXX for more information. The 1992 Mets, Art Ball is back.
Brian Jordan, after having the pitch fouled off the knob of the bat, even going to his position. Now we'll look at him and check him out, looking into the Mets dugout and trying to eyeball Bret Saberhagen. Never took his eyes off of it.
Well, let's take a look at the pitch. It's a fastball that's not really too far inside. And he is struck out on that pitch. He was hit by a pitch similar to it. And after being hit, glared back at Saberhagen as though, you can't do that to me. One of the things that happens in baseball, if those things bother you, you keep getting them.
No, I'll guarantee you. That's right. Howard Johnson 0 for 2. The change and a beauty, 1-1. Osborne, a steady diet of fastballs and changeups. Very few breaking balls from the left-hander in this game. No score here in the 7th. Outside, ball 2, 2-1. What a lot of guys do, Ralph, and you've seen it with Dave Winfield in the American League. Reggie Jackson was a master at, they couldn't hit that pitch inside, so if somebody came inside, they would glare at the pitcher and stare at him, thereby raising the consciousness of the umpire. And what you do, in effect, is push that ball out over the plate. Don Baylor, on the other hand, was a guy, even though, as we said, he was hit more than any other major league batter, he was a guy who would just go to first base. It didn't bother him. Talk about a mountain of a man. He is a mountain of a man. Wondered if it ever hurt him.
I'm sure it stung a little bit now and then, but he was willing to take it, put up with it, and it certainly helped his hitting because he stood right on top of that plate as an outstanding hitter.
But a guy that you really had to pitch inside. So maybe that is the crux of Jordan's theory here. As Johnson rips one, fair ball down the left field line. So Hojo with a double, his 5th double of the year, and he leads off the 7th.
Howard Johnson gets a fastball inside, does a terrific job of getting the hands out so he doesn't pull it foul. Keeps the ball in play, and it's right down the line for a 2-base hit. And the Mets have a leadoff 2-base hit here. And a chance to get on the scoreboard.
That is the first leadoff batter to get on base today for either team. Murray hits one to right field, and what a piece of hitting by Murray. I mean, hitting it from a line drive down to right field, and that moves Johnson to third with 1 out. The way he swung the bat, then, you got to think he's trying to do that.
Certainly looked like it as the pitch was inside, and he takes his hands, moves them inside, and goes out with that inside-out swing to drive it to right field. He almost hit it hard enough to come up with a base hit. Look at this move as he stays right on it. There's no doubt about it from that move that he was trying to hit the ball to right field. He did a job of moving the runner over, hoping to get a base hit at the same time. Hit the ball well and does the job of moving Johnson over to third base where the Mets can score the runner with an out. And Murray afterwards seems to indicate that he was trying to do it. Good team play there.
After a game-winning home run in last night's game. Well, the Cardinals moved their infield in, and Todd Hundley, the batter, he's 0 for 2. Curve is low, ball 1. Mike Cubbage flashing the signs. Of course, Todd Hundley, an excellent bunter, and the squeeze a possibility here in the 7th inning of a scoreless game.
Bunted his first time up and was thrown out bunting for a base hit. Hit the ball very hard his next time up and was thrown out.
Swing and a miss at the changeup, 1-1. If you're the runner at third in a squeeze play or on a squeeze play, the one thing you keep in mind is not to break too soon. If you break too soon, the pitcher will pitch out or hit the batter or throw at the batter, depending on the philosophy of the teams. Gedman looking over in the dugout. High, ball 2, 2-1. Johnson at third with 1 out. No score. Cubbage flashing the signs.
Well, the defense is against the squeeze is to throw the ball behind the hitter's head to get him down on the ground and out of the way so you can make the tag and the runner coming down the line.
I don't think that's the best thing to do. They pitch out. I think that's the best thing to do. If you pitch out, it clears it for the catcher. I mean, guys who put that play in vogue, throwing at the hitter, they've never been a catcher because a pass ball is a big possibility. You got the bat going one way, Guys ducking. It's 3-1 now to Hundley. Change up, swing and a miss. 3-2 now to Todd.
1955. Bob Lemon was pitching. They put the squeeze on playing the Yankees. Rizzuto was the batter. Lemon threw behind Rizzuto's head. Rizzuto still bunted the ball fair.
I heard about that play.
It's one of the most amazing bunts I've ever seen in my life. The ball behind him, and he bunts the ball.
Curveball fouled off. Still 3-2 to Hundley. Osborne's staple pitch has been the changeup all day. We'll see if Hundley gets that pitch. Just watch Gedman. The wiggle is the change. And that's what it's going to be. Swing and a miss. Got him. 2 outs.
Well, he made a bad pitch in a way. Change of pace up.
Yep.
Easy pitch to hit in the air, but he got away with it. There you see the wiggle, so that's a changeup in this sequence. And the pitch is right up there to hit nicely. Hundley can't get a piece of it.
He certainly made a mistake, but he got away with it. Bucky Dent keeping the chart with the Cardinals as Dave Magadan steps up. Magadan 0 for 2. Magadan thrives on these situations. 2 out, a runner in scoring position. Slider outside, ball 2. Outside corner, 2 balls and a strike. Last year, Dave Magadan's batting average with 2 outs and runners in scoring position was the league's best.
Hit 380 in that situation. Although he hit only 258 last year for his season's average.
Fouls it back, 2-2 today.
The year before, he was #1 in the major leagues, driving in runs when runners were in scoring position 42% of the time.
Curve, outside and low, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Dave Magadan. He's going to get the slider. And that's what he got, and he goes down on strikes. Howard Johnson's leadoff double to no avail. Still no score after 7. We'll be back after this from Mobile. No score here in the top of the 8th inning. As you see, each team with 4 hits. The Cardinals have had 4 base runners. The Mets have had 5 base runners. Only 1 leadoff batter has reached base, and that a leadoff double by Howard Johnson in the 7th. He was stranded at 3rd. Rich Gedman for the Cardinals leads it off here in the top of the 8th inning. Saberhagen and Osborne, and it has been a beauty. 0-1 to Gedman. Tom Pagnozzi, the Cardinals' regular catcher, has come in from the bullpen. He has grabbed a bat and could be the pinch hitter for Osborne after Gedman. Ground ball, Murray on the line. One out. That ball right over the bag. Eddie Murray right on the line. And one away.
Tell you one thing, he has got great hands. This ball's not an easy chance. And he makes it look easy as he comes up with the ball and takes it to the bag. Checking out the Macy's National League scoreboard. Day games in progress in the National League. It's Philadelphia 2, Chicago 2 at Wrigley Field. That's top of the 4th inning. Montreal leading Pittsburgh 6-0. Pittsburgh with a 9-game winning streak. Zane Smith started for Pittsburgh, and Mark Gardner pitching for Montreal. That game in the top of the 7th, 6-0 Montreal.
So what Joe Torre has done is, with nobody on and one out, he's gone to the faster batter, Bernard Gilkey. Bernard 0 for 2 on the year, and he takes a fastball from Saberhagen. Ball 1. 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter on the year. 391 hitter overall. 1-1 now to Gilkey. Fouls it back. 1-2. Donovan Osborne, the 22-year-old left-hander, went 7 innings, giving up only 4 hits and 2 big strikeouts. Actually, he struck out 4, but the 2 biggest ones coming with Howard Johnson on third base. Gilkey fouls it off. So Osborne is finished for the day. Mike Perez, the right-hander, is warming up for the Cardinals. He'll be the pitcher in the bottom of the 8th.
Very impressive outing by Osborne. Young pitcher with a lot of talent.
Curveball gets Gilkey. 2 outs.
Seventh strikeout for Saberhagen, and he does it with a curveball. Saberhagen had 8 strikeouts in his last outing, working 6 innings against Montreal. So his last 2 outings, he's had good success striking out batters.
Ray Lankford now the batter. He's 0 for 3. Osborne obviously dismayed on the bench because unless the Cardinals can score in this inning, he will get a no decision. High to Lankford. Ball 1. Change is low. 2 balls and no strikes. Big numbers right there. Ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes to Ray Lankford. Tim Jones, the on-deck batter. There's a strike, 3-1. So Lankford can sit on the fastball and go for an extra base hit here. He had 15 triples last year as a rookie. Through the fastball, 3-2. Line drive into right center field. So Lankford has a single with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. 7 stolen bases on the season. So look for him to be running with the left-handed shortstop, Tim Jones, the batter. Saberhagen, an excellent move to first base. This will be a good battle here. He steps off and throws, and Lankford back.
Very deliberate move, stepping off the rubber. He's been called for a balk once in the National League. Watch this deliberate move. He made sure he got off the rubber there.
Not then. It wasn't deliberate. Quick feet. That's what it takes for a right-hander to throw effectively to first base. You must have quick feet.
Figure that the Cardinals will do the stolen base move here. Jones has very, very little power, and he is not an extra base hit hitter.
Slide step, strike one to Jones. So Saberhagen really varying his moves. He stepped off and threw to first. He threw the normal move to first with the quick feet, and then he stepped off. And then he had the slide step home. So he's got Langford guessing over at first base. There he goes. Pitch out. Hundley's throw. Out at second base. Still no score. Middle of the 8th. We're back after this from Chemical.
Well, the Mets have pitched out 5 times in this series. 2 of the times the runner was not going. The other 3 times they got the runner. Here's today. The pitch out is called for by Barry Foote. There it is. And the runner is thrown out attempting to steal Langford. And now Langford on another pitch out called Tuesday night by Barry Foote. And the catcher this time is O'Brien, and Charlie gets the pitch out and throws out Langford again. So the pitch outs have been called frequently, and they have been extremely successful, and they're called by Barry Foote, the coach of the New York Mets.
Junior Noboa, the batter, he's 1 for 2, and he takes ball 1 from Mike Perez, the right-hander. Another slider, fouled away, 1-1. So Barry Foote in this series has been about as smart as Shelby Foote.
He's put his best foot forward in this series. There's no doubt about that. Boy, he has been right on.
One and 2. And a footnote to that story is Shelby Foote, in case you may not know who he is a historian and was that marvelous voice on the public television series The Civil War. He is a Civil War authority. As Noboa hits one to right field, and Harper makes the play, and that'll bring up Saberhagen.
And the pitcher, the new pitcher, Mike Perez, he is record 1-0. He has no saves. Earned run average of 2.19. He worked in the first game of the series, worked 1 1/3 innings, gave up no runs and no hits while walking 1, striking out none.
Bret 0 for 1 with a sacrifice in this game. And the slider from Perez, strike 1. Saberhagen lays off the fastball. 1-1 now to Bret. Outside corner. A ball and 2 strikes to Bret Saberhagen. I think he went too far. Didn't matter. It hit his bat. And Gedman hangs on. 2 outs.
Now checking out the Toyota American League scoreboard. Boston 2, Milwaukee 1, bottom half of the 3rd. Minnesota 1, Seattle nothing. Just underway there. Cleveland scheduled against Toronto later, Detroit against Texas, and Baltimore against Kansas City.
Kansas City 1-13 on the season. Horrible start for Hal McRae and his troops.
They've lost their last 6.
Wow. Dave Gallagher pops it up, Guerrero, and now it's Alicea who comes over and makes the play. 3 up, 3 down for the Mets in the 8th. Still no score after 8, and we're back after this from Coca-Cola Classic. $27,581 on hand, $26,721 paid on a glorious spring afternoon, and what a ball game it's been. You saw Channel 9, well, into the 9th, no score. Tim Jones was the batter when Ray Lankford was thrown out to end the 8th inning. Noboa on 1 pitch. Saberhagen has been brilliant this afternoon. Certainly erratic thus far this season. His first 3 starts, giving up over 15 earned runs. 19 earned runs on the season, as a matter of fact, given up by Saberhagen. And Todd Zeal takes a strike. You know, Ralph, it's not unusual. Last July, and this was month to month, Saberhagen had the 2nd highest ERA in the American League for the month of July. And in August, he turned it around and had the lowest ERA in baseball. So that shows you how he can turn things around. And he has certainly done that on a game-to-game basis this afternoon. The curveball high to Zeal, 1-2.
Well, the one thing about Saberhagen where he can have real ups, real highs, and real lows is the fact that he has outstanding stuff. And it's a matter of command of pitches.
Curve just misses high, 2-2.
Right there, he doesn't get a call on what looked like a good curveball.
Another curve coming. They must be using pumps. Lifted to left center, and it's Gallagher who makes the play. 2 outs. I say pumps because you saw Hundley go down with 2 fingers. So instead of counting the numbers of fingers, a pitcher will count the number of pumps the fingers go down. Johnson and Schofield both waved off by Gallagher. 2 outs.
Gallagher's made only 6 errors in his career. His last error was made back in 1990.
Pedro Guerrero now. Curve is inside. Ball 1.
This is what Tim is talking about in pumps. There's 1. And he goes down with 2 fingers. And he threw a curveball in that case. And the pumps, if it's 1 pump, it's a fastball. 2 pumps, it's a curve. 3 pumps, it could be slider or a changeup, depending on what pitches the pitcher throws.
Right.
No matter what you put down finger-wise, the pumps supersede that, overtake the fingers.
And that was another example of it right there. He put down 2 fingers and just 1 pump, and Guerrero got the inside fastball. 1-2 to Pete.
2 fingers normally would indicate curveball. Fastball would be 1 finger.
Another one. Fastball inside. And Guerrero fights it off. 1-2 now to Pedro Guerrero. No runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Cardinals. No runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Mets. Donovan Osborne started for St. Louis. He went 7, relieved by Perez. And it's been Saberhagen all the way for the Mets. And Schofield makes the catch. Scoreless through 8 1/2. The fans here at Shea are on their feet, and we'll be right back after this from Macy's. All right, dude. There's a dude who's pitched a whale of a ball game, Bret Saberhagen. Dick Schofield leads it off here in the bottom of the 9th inning. No score. Saberhagen has thrown 117 pitches. He has thrown 77 strikes. That's about a 2-to-1 basis ratio. He has just been outstanding. And this slider from Mike Perez is a strike. Schofield 0 for 2 on the afternoon. He has walked and grounded out twice. Good slider again from Perez. 0-2 to Dick Schofield. If you're thinking about Schofield as far as extra innings are concerned, his longest outing, or I should say Saberhagen is concerned, his longest outing 10 innings against Detroit back in 1985. August 19th of 85. So it looks like Paul Gibson is warming for the Mets as Joe Coleman and Don Baylor talk things over. No score here in the 9th. We'll see if Saberhagen goes back out there. Popped up. Gedman off with the mask. And he just makes the catch. Remember, the catcher is the only guy who does not have sunglasses on the field, with the exception of the pitcher. 1 out.
Well, Gedman having all kinds of trouble with the suns. He shades there, and the size of that glove gives him a chance to make the catch. One-handed catch.
His glove was his glasses, right?
Boy, did a good job.
It's always tough on those bright days for a catcher because those pop-ups go up and you have no glasses. Here's Bonilla. Outside, ball 1. Bobby 0 for 3. The Mets winning last night's game with a home run by Eddie Murray in the 9th inning. Inside corner, strike 1. 1-1 to Bobby Bonilla. Low, ball 2. 2-1. Fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Bobby Bonilla. Scoreless ball game in the 9th. The outfield for the Cardinals very deep, trying to cut down on the extra base hit. Guerrero at first on the line. Inside, off the glove of Gedman. 3 balls and 2 strikes now for Bonilla. Strike 3. Second strikeout for Perez. 2 outs here in the 9th.
Well, Bonilla unhappy with an earlier call, a curveball on the inside part of the plate. Now the fastball over the outside part. And called out on strikes. He's had some problems in this series with the umpires. Last night with Mike Winters, he questioned a couple of calls.
Johnson now the batter. No score here in the 9th inning. Hojo led off the 7th with a double. He has also struck out and flied to left. Curve for a strike. 0-1. back, 0-2 now to Hojo. Three pretty good pitchers right there. There's a lot of heat in those arms. Fernandez, Saberhagen, and Gooden.
A lot of strikeouts there.
Eddie Murray on deck. Murray won last night's game with a homer. Outside, ball 1. 1-2 now to Johnson. Way outside, 2-2. Way inside, another 3-2 count, this time to Howard Johnson. So Perez threw the fastball 3-2 to Bonilla. We'll see what Johnson gets. He's going to get the breaking ball. And he does, and Johnson down on strikes. We go to extra innings here at Shea Stadium. I believe Saberhagen is gone. Terrific performance by Bret this afternoon. We go to the 10th after this from Anheuser-Busch. Paul Gibson will be the pitcher in the top of the 10th inning. A brilliant performance by Bret Saberhagen today. A shutout through 9. He gave up 5 hits, striking out 7, and walking no one. So Saberhagen, a good no decision this afternoon. And in to take it at least through the 10th, here's Ralph Kiner.
All right, Tim, and it'll be Brian Jordan to lead it off. Gibson in his 6th game for the New York Mets. Last year with Detroit, he was 5-7 with 8 saves in 68 ball games, all of them in relief. He was tied for the American League high for saves by a left-handed pitcher last year with his 8 saves. He has pitched 1 inning in this series, and he worked a 1-2-3 inning against the Cardinals with 2 strikeouts, and he pitches his first pitch, a fastball, for ball 1. Jordan, 1 for 3 in this game. You're watching Mets baseball 92 on Channel 9, WWR-TV, Secaucus, New Jersey. And a high fly ball hit to center field. Johnson with the shades down. 1 away. That'll bring up Milt Thompson, and Thompson will stay in the ball game. Left-hand batter against the left-hand pitcher. Thompson with some power usually does not start against left-hand pitching.
Yeah, the Cardinals just playing a little short right now. They've got Galarraga on the shelf, Jose Oquendo on the shelf. 8 guys on the disabled list for the Cardinals.
And Gibson's first pitch. Strike 1. And strike 2.
2 ways to look at it, I guess, Ralph. If you take Thompson out of there, you weaken your defense. But on the other hand, you got to score first. And these are the players that are on the shelf for St. Louis. Felix Jose with a hamstring. Galarraga and Oquendo, broken wrist. Bryn Smith, surgery on his right arm. And the others.
Lined into right field, might be a double, but Neal have to hurry to hold him to a single. The throw into second base, a good one, and it's not in time as Thompson legs out a 2-base hit.
Now Bonilla and Schofield do what they can. Bobby, a long way to run for this ball. He gets in the proper throwing position. Thompson takes a good chance and makes it. Quick tag by Schofield to no avail.
So a runner in scoring position with one out. And it's an awfully close play at second base, but the call goes to Thompson and the Cardinals. Now a conference at the mound. Batter scheduled up as Luis Alicea, and now a call to the bullpen. Jeff Ennis throwing in the bullpen for the Mets. Jeff, the winner last night.
I think Craig Wilson is coming in from the bullpen to be the pinch hitter for Luis Alicea. And then if you walk him, you're going to have either Pagnazzi or Ozzie Smith somewhere down the line. So if you're looking down the line, who would you rather face? Wilson now or Smith later with Pagnazzi sandwiched in between? I don't think it's hard to figure out. I think they ought to pitch to Wilson right now.
Now, Pagnazzi has been a Mets killer, and he's also having a very good year. Wilson coming to the on-deck circle. Batted .171 for the Cardinals last year, but he did hit .297 as a pinch hitter with 11 runs batted in.
Of course, if you go to the left-hander right now, you're going to get Gerald Perry hitting against Jeff Ennis.
So the wheels are turning.
Mike Cubbage moving Bobby Bonilla a little bit toward the line. Todd Hundley looking over to see what Jeff Torborg wants to do. We'll see if they pitch to him. I think it's the right move here, and it appears that that's what they're going to do.
Wilson has a career pinch hitting batting average at .328 with 21 hits. If you like to know those stats. And hitting with the go-ahead run on at second base and one out. And the first pitch by Gibson, the fastball for ball one. Wilson 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter with a run batted in this year. Batting .250 on the season. And Gibson's pitch a curve, and it's in there for a called strike. 1-1 the count. He made his major league debut against the Mets in 1989 as a pinch hitter. Craig Wilson, the hitter. Short lead at second by Thompson. And it's grounded foul down the third base side. So Gibson out in front with a 1-2 count. Cardinals trying to salvage the final game of this three-game set. The Mets winning the first two well-pitched games for the Mets. And no score in this game. We're in the top of the 10th inning. One ball, two strikes the count. Time is asked for by Wilson, the pinch hitter, as a piece of cellophane glided by between the pitcher and the catcher. Thompson has good speed, the runner at second base, and this pitch is swung on and missed. So Gibson with a big strikeout, getting the pinch hitter, Craig Wilson.
After the bevy of breaking balls and all-speed stuff, Paul Gibson just blows the ball by Craig Wilson.
Now we're going to have a pinch hitter left on the bench is Ozzie Smith, Rex Hudler. Pagnazzi will be the pinch hitter, and Gerald Perry. So scratch Pagnazzi as he comes out to the on-deck circle. And now Torborg going out the mound. He has a right-hander in the bullpen, Jeff Ennis throwing.
I would think he'd go to Jeff. And, you know, there are a lot of managers that would walk Craig Wilson with first base open in that situation. But Jeff Torborg elected to pitch to Wilson. He went with the percentages, and now he'll bring in Ennis to face the right-handed hitting Pagnazzi.
So with a new pitcher coming in, we'll pause for this word from your Tri-State Toyota dealer. Jeff Ennis with a record of 2-1. Working 7 1/3 innings. He has no saves this year. Number average of 3.68. And Ennis working last night, the winning pitcher in the ball game, pitched to 3 batters and struck them all out. And right here he has the potential of walking Pagnozzi, who has a 300 batting average at a career average of 300 against the Mets, and taking his chances with the pinch hitter Ozzie Smith, Rex Hudler, or Gerald Perry. 2 men away, first base open. The go-ahead run at second base. We're in the top of the 10th inning, and we'll see how the Mets play it. Pagnozzi has been a thorn in the Mets side and coming on as one of the top catchers in baseball and a Gold Glove winner last year, but more importantly in this situation, he has become a good hitter. So the Mets are going to pitch to him, but they'll pitch to him carefully. And the first pitch is way inside for ball 1. Pagnozzi, the pinch hitter, is 0 for 1 this year as a pinch hitter, hitting .306 on the year. He's driven in 6 runs, caught the first 2 games against the Mets. Was 1 for 4 and 1 for 3 in each of those games. And the 1-0 pitch. Ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes.
Jeff Ennis told me before the game that he continues to throw one breaking ball after another to Pagnozzi, and Pagnozzi keeps swinging through it. But he comes in today and throws 2 fastballs to him.
He struck him out when he pitched against him yesterday.
On a breaking ball.
Struck him out with a slider. And the 2-0 pitch. Then he goes to the fastball and gets a strike, and it's 2-1.
Looks like Pagnozzi's looking for the breaking ball. He's thrown 3 straight fastballs, and Tom hasn't offered at him.
And that's Gerald Perry on deck. He would be in there to bat for the pitcher. 2 balls, 1 strike to count. And the fastball grounded foul, so it's 2-2. So Ennis changing his philosophy.
Yeah.
Which you have to do in this game of baseball.
Up to now. Now you wonder, and I'm sure Mel Stottlemyre's wondering what Jeff's going to throw him. If he's been that successful with the breaking ball, you have a game situation here. I would think he'd throw it right now.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count. Outfield not too deep. Fast runner at second and Thompson. And the 2-2 pitch doesn't come off. Time is called.
Ennis just threw the ball anyway.
Don't show him what the pitch was. A lot of pitchers would go ahead and throw it like it was called, and then you have an idea what he had in mind. He just threw it away.
Like he was lobbing a grenade in there.
So again, time back in, and a new set of signs. 2-2 the count. And he goes to the slider, and he strikes him out. So Ennis has struck out 4 consecutive batters in his last 2 appearances, and that a big one. As we go to the bottom of the 10th, a hit, 1 left, and the score at the end of 9 1/2 innings. No score. And here's the word from the 9X Yellow Pages. New pitch in the ball game for the Cardinals. Some other defensive changes as we go to the bottom of the 10th inning. Todd Burrell, the new pitcher. He's 0-0 in the year with an earned run average of 0. He's worked 7 innings, given up only 2 hits, and he has struck out 8. He pitched in yesterday's ball game, and he worked 1 inning, walking 2 batters, but getting a very big double play as Bobby Bonilla grounded into a double play, and he got out of that inning. He'll be working to Tom Pagnozzi, his new battery mate. And Ozzie Smith has come in the ball game. He'll bat in the 9th position in the double switch. And Tim Jones, who was playing shortstop, has moved over to second base, replacing Alicea, who leaves the ball game, and Worrell will be in his batting position in the batting order, 7th in the lineup. This game, he's not an extra inning man.
No, you can tell that by the overalls that he's wearing.
Overalls, he's not very good for extra inning ball games, as The Mets bat here in the 10th, and Eddie Murray, who won yesterday's game with a home run in the 9th inning, will lead it off. Orel throwing very hard in last night's ball game, misses with a fastball. He was wild high last night with his fastball. Got himself in trouble walking Randolph and Schofield, but then got Bonilla to ground into the double play. That was his 1 inning of work in this series. Now the 1-0 pitch. 1-1. Murray 1 for 3 infield base hit. His home run last night coming off a changeup thrown by Chris Carpenter, the losing pitcher. 1 man out in the 9th inning with that home run to give the Mets the victory 3-2 yesterday. Murray's only home run with the Mets, and he hits it hard into deep center field, but going back is Langford. He has plenty of room, and he makes the catch.
That's one of the toughest pitches to handle, especially in extra inning games, is that pitch up and away, because every time you get it, you're going to get it from a hard thrower. That ball up and away, and relievers like that make you hit it to the fat part of the field. Ball was well hit, about 390 feet away, but it's a lot of room out there.
And that'll bring up Todd Hundley, who is 0 for 3 today. Hundley with a home run in yesterday's game. And he goes after that high fastball and fouls it back out of play. The Mets haven't seen Lee Smith, who set a National League record last year for saves. Lee not appearing yet in the series. He normally comes in only when the Cardinals are ahead. Orel has been a great relief pitcher for St. Louis. Missed 2 full years because of arm injuries. First the elbow and then the shoulder. And coming back here this year after being out of action for 2 years in the major leagues. Outstanding story. He's 1 short of tying the Cardinal record for saves by a relief pitcher, held by Bruce Sutter. There's a good fastball for a strike. Sutter with 127 saves, Worrell with 126. 1-2 to Todd Hundley. Hundley with a chance for the Mets to take the lead back in the 7th inning with a runner in 3rd and 1 out, was struck out on a changeup on a 3-2 pitch. That's with only 2 scoring opportunities in this game. Bases loaded in the 3rd. Bonilla fouled out for the final out of the inning. Then Hundley goes down on strikes.
Montreal Expos break the Pittsburgh Pirates winning streak of 9 in a row. Montreal 6-3 over Pittsburgh. Gardner the winner. Zane Smith loses his first game of the year.
So now the batter will be Dave Magadan, who is 0 for 3, robbed of a base hit on a fine play by the left fielder Thompson back in the 5th inning. And Orel starts him off with the fastball, gets the call, and it's strike 1. Scoreless ball game, 2 men out, bottom of the 10th inning. Magadan hitting .211, no home runs, and he fouls that one straight down. Off-speed pitch for strike 2. Magadan with 4 home runs last year, 6 the year before. And batting with 2 men out here in the 10th inning. Strike 2 the count. And the fastball straightens him up. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Don Borrell, third pitcher used for the Cardinals, and this one fouled down, so the count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mets trying to extend their winning streak to 4 consecutive games and win 7 of their last 8. Cardinals have lost 2 in a row, and they came in with a record of 6-8. Pitchers have really dominated this game. And a ball call, 2-2. It should be a good hitter's day, but the pitchers have certainly dominated.
Pitchers can shut that off in a minute.
Good pitching. Stops good hitting, the old saying. Fouled it off, and count stays at 2-2.
That's always true. And the reason it's always true is because even if you're hitting well, you've only gotten 3 hits out of 10 times at bat. The odds are always with the pitcher.
And at 2-2, the pitches hit hard to right, but pull foul. Good crowd here today, the best crowd of the 3 games of the series, day game. Short 3-game homestand for the Mets. They go to Philadelphia, 3. And back home again. 2-2. Rounded off to the right side, so the count stays at 2-2. Oriole with a slider that time. Cardinals have out-hit the Mets 6-4. Both starting pitchers pitching outstanding baseball. Donovan, Osborne going 7, giving up no runs on 4 hits. Saberhagen going 9, giving up no runs on 5 hits. And again, the ball fouled, so Magadan hangs tough. He spoiled a tough pitch there. High inside fastball, perfect pitch. He stays alive. Phillies leading the Cubs 5-2. That game in the top of the 7th. Phillies have lost 7 of their last 8. Now it goes to a full count, 3-2. On deck batter for the Mets, Junior Noboa. There's Junior. Magadan gets on, and he might not hit. 3-2 the count. And it's in the air to right field. Late start for Jordan. He comes up on it, makes the catch. And that retires the side. So Worrell, a 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout and the score at the end of 10. The Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. And here's a word from Bud Light. To work here in the top of the 11th inning, and as we go into the extra innings of this ball game, once again coming in for the play-by-play, Tim McCarver.
All right, Ralph, thank you very much. No runs, 6 hits, no errors for St. Louis. No runs, 4 hits, and no errors for the New York Mets. Bret Saberhagen was just brilliant today. 9 innings of work, striking out 7, walking no one, giving up 5 hits. Paul Gibson came in the game in the 10th inning. He pitched 2/3 of an inning, giving up a 1-out double to Milt Thompson. And Innes came in, and then he got Pagnazzi on a strikeout. The double switch was employed by Joe Torre in the 10th inning. He put Ozzie Smith in the 9-hole, and Ozzie leads it off, and he fouls the first pitch back, 0-1. Smith, the .273 batter on the year. 1-1. Just handed a note that this is the longest 0-0 game that the Mets have played since September 15th, 1986. Mets played at St. Louis, and the winner in that game, Todd Worrell. He beat Roger McDowell 1-0. No score here in the 11th inning. A ball and 2 strikes to Ozzie Smith. Slider misses outside. Jeff was talking about that slider before the game, and he said if you really want to get the swooping action, all you do is simply get underneath it more. And the fastball misses. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Ozzie Smith. Fastball grounded back to Ennis. He'll have to hurry. Smith with an infield hit. Off the glove of Jeff Ennis, Ozzie Smith with the 7th Cardinal hit of this ball game.
Well, it looked like Ennis had this ball. He's ready for it, but he doesn't get it in the good part of the glove, and it glances off. Now he has no chance, and Smith gets on. It'll be scored a base hit. And Smith, who has 499 stolen bases in his career, is on at first base with no one out.
Ray Lankford now the batter. We'll see if Lankford's going to be bunting. It's doubtful in this situation with Tim Jones in the on-deck circle. Lankford, a very, very tough out. I don't know whether Joe Torre will sacrifice an out to move Smith along. He's not bunting, and the fastball is outside. We'll see if they put the hit and run on here. Bucky Dent looking over to Joe Torre. Ennis throws a ground ball, a lot of ground balls, and a hit and run certainly makes sense here. You don't want to hit and run against a predominantly fly ball pitcher. You want to do it against a pitcher that throws a lot of ground balls.
Ennis the ideal man to hit and run on because he doesn't overpower you with his fastball.
Right. Smith not running, and the fastball's in for a strike. 1-1. That's a throw to first. That comes from the bench. Barry Foote, the hand on the right thigh of Todd Hundley. Pitch out here. Usually a fist is a pitch out. We'll see if they're going to pitch out. Foote has been successful 3 of 5 times in this series. Nope, fastball away now. They changed it. Fouled off, a ball and 2 strikes to Ray Lankford. Signs of the times.
More and more managers have gone to calling so many plays from the bench.
Breaking ball away from Ennis. See, Hundley motioned breaking ball, and then he tapped his left thigh. And he moves outside. And the slider is fouled off. That's that swooping slider we were talking about. You could see the big break.
Hard to make the ball break when you throw the way Ennis does, and that ball actually moving in an upward plane as he went to the spin of the ball to make it slide in on the left-handed batter.
This slider is going to be inside. And it's drilled to right field. Bonilla up, and he can't make the play. It's off Bobby's glove. So a hit for Langford, hit number 8 for the Cardinals, and St. Louis with runners at first and second and nobody out.
Well, Bonilla trying to get to it in the air, but it has that sinking motion on it, drops down in front of him. Smith had to hold up to see whether or not it was going to be caught, and then when it does drop and gets away, Smith can only go to second, and now we have just about a sure sacrifice situation going here, and the rally gaps by a couple of the Mets fans. Let's stop this rally. They want to try and get out of this. Mets looking for the sacrifice.
Tim Jones, an excellent bunter, and he squares the bunt, and the fastball is outside as the Mets employed the rotation play where Magadan and Murray both charge. Noboa, the second baseman, goes to first, and Schofield, the shortstop, goes to third. Pickoff play at second base. That was when Dick Schofield made sure Ozzie saw him go to third, and you try to entice him off of second, but Smith, being a middle infielder, he's wary of plays like that. You say, man, I've been doing that for 14 years. What are you trying to trick me for? Straight up now, and the bunt by Jones is fouled off, 1-1. Well, that time, no rotation play. Schofield runs to third base, and Jones appeared to see that and looked like he was trying to punch the ball up the middle. He fouls it off, 1-2.
Well, a rotation play hard to beat, and you can beat it by swinging away and hitting the ball up the middle. Everybody has vacated the center. Shortstop going to third, the second baseman to first. And to offset that, you don't put it on, and you have your shortstop there. So it's a guessing game.
Jones guessed right, but he fouled it off. 1-2 to Tim Jones. Outside, ball 2, 2-2. Ennis in trouble. First and second for the Cardinals. A scoreless game here in the 11th. Tim Jones 0 for 4 on the afternoon. Way outside, ball 3. And that's a big pitch because now the runners will be running in all probability. Contact pitcher, contact hitter, and the double play will be very difficult to execute with the runners on the move. One of the reasons you send them in a situation like this. Runners not running. How about that?
That indicates that Joe Torre doesn't have the confidence in Tim Jones to make contact.
Against Ennis, though?
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He's got to put the ball in play. Ennis doesn't strike out batters to speak of, especially left-hand batters.
But the runners were not running. So we'll see if they move this time. Not running again, and this one lined down the right field line. Right before that pitch was made, Eddie Murray came over to first base behind Lankford, and that cleared that hole on the right side. Watch Murray on the pitch. Watch this. Ennis should be stepping off, and that clears that whole right side, and Jones lines it off foul. So miscommunication between Murray and Ennis. Throw to second, not in time.
Well, Ennis makes the turn here as the shortstop Schofield comes in. The throw is on the second base side. Schofield hasn't got a chance to get the tag there before Smith gets back.
There go the runners. Fastball is inside. Ball 4. So the runners were moving then, and Ennis's pitch was inside and low. So that'll load them up with nobody out, and the tough Todd Zeile coming up.
First walk in the game given up by Mets pitchers, and it's a big one. Cardinals with a chance to break this game open now with the heart of their batting order coming up. 3-2 the count. This pitch not even close. You see the runners moving with the pitch. They finally do go on what appeared to be a fairly normal move of having the runners go in the situation.
Mets infield in. Zeile is 1 for 4 on the day, and the fastball is low. Ball 1. The Mets looking for a ground ball at somebody. Mel Stottlemyre out to talk to Jeff Ennis.
No one throwing in the bullpen for the Mets.
Ozzie Smith at third base. Ray Lankford at second base. And Tim Jones, who fouled off a couple of pitches before walking, is at first base. This inning started on a comebacker to Ennis, a one-hopper. It went off his glove, and Ozzie Smith had an infield hit. Ray Lankford followed with a base hit to right, and now the walk to Jones loads him up, nobody out. 1 ball, no strikes to Todd Zeile. Strike on the corner. Tapper toward third. Magadan will come home for the 1 out.
Well, the infield in, and the perfect ball with the infield in for a play at the plate. No chance to make any other decision, and they get the force at home, and they get 1 out. Now it looks like they're going to play the infield back for the double play against Pedro Guerrero.
Back meaning halfway. So Barry Foote trying to motion with his hands. If the ball slowly hits, you got to come home. So the infield is back. Murray and Magadan are pinched at the corners. And there's your infield alignment. Base is still loaded. 1 out. Guerrero on the afternoon. 1 for 4. An infield hit in the 4th. Slider, strike 1. Nothing in 1. That's that swooping breaking ball again.
Well, he goes to the curve that breaks away, and Guerrero way out in front. Not even close to it. Guerrero's hit into 2 double plays already this year.
0-1 to Pedro Guerrero. Fastball is low. Ball 1. 1-1. On deck batter is Brian Jordan. Fastball foul back. 1-2 now to Guerrero, and you wonder if Ennis will go back to that breaking ball. Guerrero was not even close to that first breaking ball.
That last pitch, a fastball by Ennis. He's not that fast, but he had that pitch by him. It looked like Guerrero must have been looking curveball there, because he snuck the fastball by.
That's right. A ball and 2 strikes. The Cardinals with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Here's the pitch that he got by him. Oh, that's the curveball right there that he was way out in front of.
And he gets it again and strikes him out. 2 outs.
Well, he missed the first slurve and was way out in front. Now he comes back with another one after the fastball, and again Guerrero in front of it. And that could be a very, very big strikeout.
So Jeff Ennis, who wants to be an FBI agent when his career is over, is 2/3 of the way out of a very, very tight jam. Brian Jordan, the right fielder. Pedro Guerrero probably thinking they ought to investigate that breaking ball they just threw me. Fastball is low. Ball 1. Jordan.
Well, that is much more effective when he's ahead of the count. He was behind here, but he gets a very good sinking fastball. Might have been outside. Jordan chases it.
Breaking ball fouled off. A ball and 2 strikes. Jeff says that he uses that breaking ball to change the eye level of the hitter. It prevents the hitter from diving out and swinging at pitches in the same area. 1-2 to Jordan. Bases loaded. No score here at Shea. Cardinals and Mets. What has become a beauty. Ground ball to third. Magadan, short hop. The Mets get out of it. Still no score. We'll be back after this from Nobody Beats the Wiz.
Chris Carpenter, the new pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, the loser yesterday. He's 1-1 in the year. He worked the 9th inning, got one man out, and then gave up the home run to Eddie Murray. Herman averaged at 3.38, and he will be pitching to the 8th and 9th and first place hitter as his first 3 batters.
Remember, fans, when you're having good times with good friends, please drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser.
Well, the base is loaded. He got down to 2 men out, and this ball hit down to Magadan. Good play by Magadan. He gets it off quickly, and Jordan grounds out to end the inning, and the Mets bench happy with that survival.
All right, says Mel Stottlemyre. All right, says Jeff Torborg and John Stevenson and the whole Mets bench. Bases loaded and nobody out, and Jeff Ennis pitches out of it by retiring Todd Zeile, Pedro Guerrero, and Brian Jordan, the heart of the Cardinal order. A ball on Junior Noboa. Ball 2. You're thinking long ball. Junior has 1 major league home run. Ball 3. Darryl Boston now the on-deck batter, and you've got to wonder for a relatively young pitcher like Carpenter if he's forgotten last night or not yet, Ralph.
I don't think he's forgotten it. A real tough loss. He thought he had Murray in his hands, and Murray came back after all those changeups and hit one out of the ballpark.
There's a strike on the corner. 3-1 to Noboa. See if he's taking again, or inside, ball 4. Now the Mets have Rodney McCray as a pinch runner if they choose to use Rodney in this situation. You saw Darryl Boston, who was in the on-deck circle, but now a better bunter is going to be the pinch hitter or pinch bunter in this situation, Willie Randolph.
Handles that bat very well. This is his first pinch hitting appearance, but he is basically in there to see if he can get the runner down to second on the sacrifice.
Absolutely. Squares inside, ball 1. Joe Coleman, the pitching coach for the Cardinals, is out to talk to Chris Carpenter. And if Randolph gets on, you may just see Bob McClure, even though the Mets with right-handers and switch hitters coming up. Maybe Joe Torre thinking that Carpenter hasn't forgotten last night's game. He's thrown 5 out of 6 balls, and the 3-0 pitch could have been a ball. It was called a strike by Mike Winters. 4 sacrifice bunts this season. That's not a lot, but Randolph trying to do it here. 1 ball, no strikes, no score, bottom of the 11th. High, ball 2. Two balls and no strikes, and Randolph will try to make this ball be right there to bunt. Noboa at first. There's a strike. Randolph thought it might have been inside, but Mike Winters says strike 1, 2-1.
Well, you know he's going to be throwing a fastball right in there, trying to get it in the strike zone. You wonder not whether they'll switch to a hit-and-run play here.
That's certainly a point. Of course, Carpenter hasn't been throwing enough strikes. We'll see. Randolph bunting, and he bunts it. Carpenter to Jones covering as Naboa moves to second. So the sacrifice successful. Fine job by Willie Randolph.
Well, a real professional ball player, Willie Randolph. He is the type of player that knows how to play and executes, and he gets down a good bunt to sacrifice putting the winning run at second base. And it will bring up Darrell Boston as a pinch hitter. Boston batting for the right-hand batter, Dave Gallagher.
Joe Torre, on the other hand, has the left-hander Bob McClure warming up, and Joe Coleman is calling down to see if McClure is ready. You don't want to walk Boston here, because then unless Schofield hits it to a double play, you've got Bonilla and Johnson there. So they're going to pitch to Boston.
Switch hitters coming to play.
0-1 to Darrell Boston. There's McClure, the left-hander.
Boston is a pinch hitter, 1 for 3.
Inside, ball 1-1.
Pagnozzi lucky to catch that one.
Another one fouled away. 1-2 now to Boston. Potential winning run at second base. No score here in the 11th. 1 out. Dick Schofield on deck. A ball and 2 strikes to Darrell Boston. Pinch hitting for Dave Gallagher. See if he gets the splitter here. That's what Murray hit for the homer last night, and the splitter is fouled away. You have been watching and are watching Mets Baseball 92 on Channel 9, WWOR-TV, Secaucus, New Jersey. And what a game it's been. Boston fights off another fastball. Still 1-2.
That's a chart there where balls are hit. You can see a diagram of the field.
Another one fouled back. Still 1-2. No score. Bottom of the 11th. Grounded toward first. Guerrero will take it himself. So Boston grounds out as Naboa moves to third base. Now, the one thing to keep in mind, because I know Tom Pagnozzi has it on his mind right now, is that split finger fastball. To be effective, it has to be down, which means that a possibility of a wild pitch. Joe Coleman threw a splitter himself when he was playing. Detroit, Chicago, California. Pagnozzi wants the fastball in to Schofield. And it misses.
Well, this pitch really gets away. Schofield gets out of the way, and it's a 1-ball, no strike count. Carpenter's having trouble getting the ball where he wants it.
Fastball away to Schofield. But it's inside, 2-0. And there's an example there, Ralph. You saw the sign. It was supposed to be a fastball away, and the ball came and tailed back inside.
So 2 in a row, getting away inside. There you see the sign that it is to go to the outside part down low. Gets up high and inside. Just the opposite of where he wanted it.
Strike one. Two balls and a strike to Dick Schofield. We're in the 11th inning. 2 outs. Junior Noboa at third base. A 0-0 ball game.
Batting here in the top of the 12th inning, the new pitcher of the ball game. No score in the game. The Cardinals have out-hit the Mets 8-4. The Mets surviving a bases-loaded situation in the 11th inning with no one out. And now John Franco will take over. He's 1-0 this year with 2 saves. He has not allowed an earned run, having worked 4 2/3 innings, giving up just 1 hit. This will be his 5th ball game, and he'll be working to Milt Thompson as his first batter. Mets will have Darrell Boston in left field. Boston appeared in the ball game as a pinch hitter for Dave Gallagher, who was in left field. So on the best day of the year, it's a fine ball game. Cardinals have left 8 men on. The Mets have left 5 on. Cardinals have left 6 men on in scoring position. The Mets have left 3 men on in scoring position. Mets leaving 2 on at third. The Cardinals leaving also having trouble getting runs and 3 on at third base. And Thompson tries to bunt the first pitch. It's fouled away for strike 1. Thompson with 2 doubles and 4 at-bats in this game, and robbed of another extra base hit on the best fielding play of the game by Bobby Bonilla back in the 2nd. So Thompson leading off here in the top of the 12th inning, and Franco misses with a fastball. Franco last year pressed into numerous situations where he could be only on the decision side of a ball game, a win or a loss. Did have 30 saves, but he had a lot of decision, 5 wins and 9 losses. And the pitch back is grounded out to the second base. A tough play for Noboa. He gets it over to first, but the throw gets away and stays, fortunately, on the field and doesn't go into the stands. And on the throwing there, Thompson is on.
Noboa fields the ball in time on the short hop, but it's his throw that's wide and high. And Thompson is on at first on an error by Junior Noboa.
Noboa making his 2nd error of the year, and both of them have been on bad throws, one of them from third base. So that puts a go-ahead run at first with no one out and brings up a pinch hitter. It's going to be Rex Hudler. So Hudler, the pinch hitter, and the Cardinals are down to 1 player left on the bench that is a regular player, and that's Gerald Perry. As Hudler bats here, the Mets looking for the sacrifice. Throw to first base. Hudler hitting .231 for the year. He has 3 hits and 13 at-bats. And one of his hits, a pinch hit home run that won a game for the Cardinals over the Montreal Expos. And he bunts it out to the pitcher side to play at second base. It's there in time. And they pick up the force and get the lead runner.
Think of all the things that John Franco had to do to field this ball and throw it accurately to second base. So he's a left-handed pitcher. He's almost coming off the mound when he releases the ball. Most left-handers fall toward third, but Franco, knowing Hudler would be bunting, watch him kind of run off the mound. See, he doesn't allow his momentum to carry him toward third. That gives him a better jump, and he throws out. Milt Thompson at second base. Fine play by Franco.
And now Hudler, the runner at first base, and the batter is Tom Pagnazzi. And the throw to first base puts Hudler back. Pagnazzi, a pinch hitter against Ellis in the 10th inning, struck out to end the inning with the go-ahead run at second base. And that pitch a ball for ball one. Pagnazzi 0 for 1 in this game, hitting an even 300 on the year. Franco with the most decisions that he has had last year since 1985. He was 5-9 last year. 30 saves. He has reached 30 saves in 5 consecutive years, the time Major League record set by Jeff Reardon. And the runner picked off at first base. Murray's throw to second is in time, and Hudler picked off on the caught stealing as he was moving on the throw.
You could credit John Franco with both of these outs after the error, and that's what the great ones do, and he is a terrific reliever. The throwing error by Noboa, he made the great play going to second base, and now he picks off Hudler.
So now no one on and 2 men out, and the pitch back to strike. 1-1 to Pagnazzi. Joe Torre, the manager of the Cardinals, and a wild swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 12th inning, the Mets will have the heart of their batting order coming up. Bonilla, Johnson, and Murray. Mets using their closer here in a tie ball game, and a line drive, and the ball has it, and we go to the bottom of the 12th inning. And the score at the end of 11 and a half innings, the Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing, and here's a word from Pro Step. Well, a new pitch in the game for the St. Louis Cardinals, and in a rather unusual relief appearance, Gusto, the new pitcher.
Following Chris Carpenter and Todd Worrell, Donovan Osborne started this game about 3.5 hours ago, as did Bret Saberhagen. Pitchers have been in control for both teams this afternoon. The Mets with only 4 hits through 11, Cardinals with only 8 hits through 12. And that one loss to the Mets by Augusto in the 4th game of the year.
So Augusto, normally a middle relief pitcher, is in the ball game to win or lose. And he'll be working to Bobby Bonilla as the first batter for the Mets. Scoreless ball game, bottom half of the 12th inning, and Augusto. And the ball's hit to the shortstop, Ozzie Smith. 1 pitch and 1 away. Bonilla now 0 for 5 in this game. That'll bring up Howard Johnson, who has a double in 4 appearances. Johnson doubled in the 7th inning, but couldn't score. He got the 3rd. But Hundley and Magadan struck out to leave him there. 1 of 2 scoring threats by the Mets in this game. Johnson in this series with 2 hits and 11 at-bats. And Juan Augusto to Howard Johnson. It's ball 1. Augusto set a club record for appearances by a left-hand pitcher for the Cardinals last year. He was in 72 ball games. He has been a workhorse, and the pitch is swung on and missed. He has been in 70-plus games each of his last 4 seasons, the most of any pitcher in the National League. And the 1-1 pitch fouled back out of play, 1-2.
One of the reasons he's so effective, he steps one way and throws the other. He throws across his body about as much as any other pitcher in the National League. He steps toward first and then throws across his body. If you throw awfully hard, that puts a lot of strain on the shoulder.
And it's hit foul on the left side. Count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
See, Augusto never clears his hips to allow that fluid motion. That's a nuance in his delivery, but also very, very difficult to pick up because most pitchers don't throw like that.
And the 1-2 pitch is pulled way foul. So again, Augusto getting Johnson way out in front.
Here's that unusual delivery of Juan Augusto. See, he kind of steps toward first and throws across his body.
Struck him out. So the Mets with their first 2 batters out here in the 12th inning, and that'll bring up the hero of last night's ball game, Eddie Murray, whose home run in the 9th inning won it for the Mets 3-2. Murray in this game with a base hit and 4 at-bats. And Augusto facing him. And it's in there for a called strike. Augusto with that funky, and that's about the best way to express it, throwing motion to the plate. Murray hits it on the ground. Ozzie Smith over. He has it. And we go to the 13th as Augusto works a 1-2-3 inning. The score at the end of 12. The Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. And here's a word from Bud Light. Well, a 0-0 ball game, and we're going to the top of the 13th once again. Tim McCarver.
All right, Ralph, thank you very much. Ozzie Smith will lead it off. Only 12 hits. We've had fewer hits than innings played. We're going to the 13th. 12 hits in the game. Man. I guess that'd be an average of 1 hit per inning. Ozzie Smith entered the game in the 10th inning, the bottom of the 10th for defense. It was a double switch employed by Joe Torre, the manager of the Cardinals, and Ozzie led off the 11th with the base hit off Jeff Ennis's glove. The Cardinals eventually loaded them up with nobody out, but failed to score when Todd Zeile grounded out, Pedro Guerrero struck out, and Brian Jordan grounded out. 1-0 now to Ozzie Smith. Ground ball, third. Magadan on the line, throws him out.
Well, Magadan led all first basemen in fielding 2 years ago, and he's doing an outstanding job fielding the third. Not easy to switch back to the different glove, and positioned perfectly for that ground ball near the line to take the extra base hit away, and where it might have been a difficult chance from the normal position, over there in the right position.
Here's Ray Lankford, who is 2 for 5 on the night. Strike to Lankford. One and one to Ray. In the early innings, we're talking about what a glorious afternoon it was. And now, here in the 13th, Ray Lankford 2 for 5 on the night. That's how long a game it's been. High to Ray, 2-1. 1 out, we're in the 13th, no score. Three and 1 to Lankford. make that another strike. Little delayed call by Mike Winters, and a full count to Ray Langford. Jam with the fastball, left center, Boston on the run, got it! 2 outs.
Well, Boston a long way to go, and he goes down to one knee to make the play, making sure that he got the glove in the right spot. So he goes back to his position, and the Mets have picked up the second out here in the 13th.
And Tim Jones, the second baseman, is the batter. He moved from short to second when Smith came in the game, and he takes his strike. 0-0, 13th inning. The good news is that if you just joined us, we have no recap. One and one to Jones. Ball and 2 strikes to Tim.
That's like the ball player's mother who came to the park, and she got there in the 9th inning, and the game was over, and she said, "What happened?" And he said, "Well, your son pitched a no-hitter." He says, "That means nothing happened." I didn't miss a thing.
One and 2 to Jones. Outside by a whisker. 2 and 2. High ball 3. 3 and 2 to Jones. Grounder to short. Schofield throws out Jones. The Cardinals go in order in the top of the 13th inning, and after 12 and a half, nada. We're back after this from Citibank. No score. Bottom of the 13th. Whew. The Nobody Beats the Wiz game summary is non-existent tonight.
It's all
we
bad.
don't. Oh no, there we go. Donovan Osborne, 7 scoreless innings. The bullpen of the Cardinals, 5 scoreless innings, allowing no hits. Saberhagen, a terrific performance, 9 scoreless innings, and for the Mets, 4 scoreless innings with only 3 hits allowed. Here's Todd Hundley, ground ball to second. 1 out. We've been saying that a lot today. Out.
Well, the Mets last did a double by Howard Johnson back in the 7th inning as he led off the inning. That's the last base runner for the Mets on a base hit. They did have a base runner in the 11th inning on a walk to Junior Naboa.
Dave Magadan, the batter. He's 0 for 4. A few averages today have taken some dives. Low, ball 1. Remember, these two teams played each other last night. So here it is, less than 24 hours, and they have played 22 innings. Outside, ball 2. 2-0 to Magadan.
Cleveland and the Red Sox played a game 16 innings long and then had a doubleheader the next day. Low, ball 3. 3-0 to Magadan.
And if you think the players are having problems, we understand LaGuardia Airport is closed until 8 this evening, that a plane is stuck in the intersecting runways over there with 2 flat tires. So 3-1 to Magadan.
That's pretty serious when you only got 2 tires on the airplane.
That's
They're both
right.
flat.
Ground ball up the middle, base hit. So Magadan on a 3-2 pitch grounds one up the middle. And he's the 1-out base runner. We understand that LaGuardia will be open at 8 o'clock this evening as Rodney McCray is in at first base to pinch run for Dave Magadan. Now look at Saberhagen. I mean, that's a small thing, but here's a guy who started the game. He went in, probably put on a dry shirt, and now he's, as a starting pitcher, he's back out on the bench. Now,
Tremendous.
it is. It says it's. I don't know if it's a small thing. I think it's a bigger thing.
I think it's a great thing because Saberhagen pitched a tremendous game. He went 9 innings and didn't give up a run, and he's still hanging around.
Speaks volumes for Bret Saberhagen.
He could really be disappointed and unhappy because the Mets didn't get him a run when he finally pitched the best game he's ever pitched in the National League. He's still there. Those are things that bring a club together.
Absolutely. Junior Noboa, the batter. McCray blazing speed at first. Low, ball 1. 0-0, bottom of the 13th.
O'Brien in the on-deck circle for the Mets.
Throw to first, and McCray scoots back. Ball 2 to Noboa. 2-0. I doubt that McCray will be running with a count 2-0. I think they'll make Augusto throw a strike first, but we'll see. There's a guy who can run. He's expected back Saturday. Vince Coleman. Strike 1, 2-1. Now we'll see if McCray is off.
It's ideal hit and run count right here too.
Yep. Throw to first, McCray back. 0-0, bottom of 13. Little looper right field. Jordan near the line, can't get it. McCray stops at second. As Noboa singles, his second hit of the game.
McCray, the runner at first base, has to hold up. He thinks there's a possibility this ball is going to be caught. It didn't look like it was even going to be close to being caught. But from the angle that McCray had, he evidently thought it could be caught. So he can only go to second. And now Joe Coleman out to talk to his pitcher, Augusto. No action in the bullpen for the Cardinals.
So Augusto told, I'm sure in part by Coleman and Ozzie Smith, to make sure you watch McCray at second base. He can fly. They all know it, and with 1 out, it's a good time to steal third base, or to try it. Charlie O'Brien will be the pinch hitter for John Franco.
First pinch hitting appearance for O'Brien. And he's batting with the winning run at second base.
Sasser, Chris Donalds, Bill Pacoda, even though Pacoda nursing a strained hamstring. Smith at second, and the ball hits McCray in the left side. Rodney grimacing with pain there. The ball hit him right below the shoulder.
Little pickoff attempt, and Ozzie Smith back there, but a bad throw by Augusto. McCray pays for it. Brian just walking down to have a conversation with Mike Cubbage, the third base coach.
I guess the only thing he could be talking about is that if McCray does try to steal, do they want him to swing? Because you're not talking about a sacrifice here. That would be the only thing that he could be talking about. There goes McCray. Fastball's inside, safe at third.
Well, that's what McCray was brought up for. He does not hit the ball, but he can certainly run. He was 6 for 6 in stolen bases in spring training, and now he gets one here. Gets a terrific jump. Pagnozzi's throw just isn't there in time, as McCray got that great jump, and that's his first stolen base in the National League. He can fly.
Now you have Darryl Boston on deck, and Tom Pagnozzi wanted to know if Joe Torre wanted to walk O'Brien to get to Boston, but they're going to pitch to him. Infield in. Fastball for a strike. 1-1 to O'Brien. The Mets have only left-handed hitters up, but you wonder if Bill Pacoda can swing the bat. You remember, he's nursing that strained hamstring. McCray at third, Noboa at first. 1-1 to O'Brien. 1 out. We're in a scoreless game. Bottom of 13. Pitch out. Ball 2. 2-1.
15 stolen base in 18 attempts for the Mets this season. 83%. Another time they've been successful, but that one really a big one because it puts a winning run on third base with 1 out.
I'll tell you what Pagnozzi might do. He might pitch out twice here, and that's the same thing as an intentional walk.
Yeah, they might as well try and tempt the Mets into thinking that they'll pitch to him to avoid a squeeze play.
There's ball 3. He might do it again. Joe Torre trying to lure Jeff Torborg into a trap. They may go ahead and walk him right now, or just call another pitch out.
Why not?
Let's see what they do. Fist is the pitch out. And that's what it is. It's a pitch out. Ball 4. An intentional walk to Charlie O'Brien. But Jeff Torborg says, fish ain't biting, Joe. Bases loaded, 1 out. Darryl Boston, the batter. Outfield in, infield in. That's right, the outfield 2. Strike 1 to Boston. A deep sacrifice fly right now ends the game, so there's no sense in the outfielders to be back. You make the hitter hit the ball over your head. If he does, the game's over. McCray at third. He's the only guy that counts. Boston Boston fouls it back. 0-2 to Darrell. What a ball game. Ball 1-2. Time for a deep breath, Joe. It hit him. Darrell Boston hit by a pitch. Rodney McCray scores and the Mets win it 1-0. What a bizarre end to a remarkable game, as Juan Augusto loses his second game of the year to the Mets and on the season. Oh, baby. Man. So looks of concern have been replaced by smiles. The Mets win it in the 13th on this pitch. Talk about taking one for the team. Darrell thought the ball lodged in his uniform, I think. Checking his uni as McCray scores. And so do the Mets. What a terrific baseball game. 13 innings it takes, and a bases-loaded hit batsman, Darrell Boston, scoring Rodney McCray. He'll never forget it either. Kiner's Corner today. I'll be back with the wrap-up right after this from Budweiser. Well, if this game were a postseason game, they would be talking about it forever. It took 13 innings for the Mets to beat the Cardinals 1-0, and it all came to a close when Darrell Boston was hit by a pitch from Juan Augusto with Rodney McCray on at third base. And when you think about it, it was Rodney McCray that set up the run, because had he not stolen third base, obviously his first steal for the Mets, had he not stolen, then they don't pitch around Charlie O'Brien. They eventually threw 3 straight pitch outs to Charlie O'Brien, and that set up the winning run with Rodney McCray going to third base. And then Darrell Boston, with the count 1-2 strikes, was hit by a pitch from Augusto, and the Mets win it 1-0. The star of the game, obviously it can't be an offensive star of the game, but it is predictably a pitcher. Bret Saberhagen is our Budweiser star of the game. He worked 9 innings, striking out 7, walking no one, and giving up only 5 hits. He left the game after 9 innings, and we talked about it earlier that Bret's longest outing in the big leagues was back in 1985 when he pitched 10 innings against Detroit, August 19th of '85. It was a remarkable game in a lot of ways. The Mets had only 1 base runner from the 4th inning to the 12th inning, and then the 1-out hit by Dave Magadan. Junior Noboa followed with a base hit, and then the big steal of third base by Rodney McCray as pinch hitter Charlie O'Brien walked, and Darrell Boston being hit by the pitch. Not a lot of offense in this game. As you can imagine, 1-0 in 13th. The ERAs went down, as did the batting averages today, as the Mets win it 1-0 in 13. Mets Baseball 92 has been brought to you by Budweiser.